called it Super Castlevania or Castlevania 4.
Hmm.
Because, like, it is a retelling of the first game, so calling it Super Castlevania would make sense.
Yeah.
But, like, Super Castlevania 4 is weird. It almost implies that there's a Super Castlevania 1 through 3, but, like, it's Castlevania 1 through 3, but Super... what? And it's not like Super Metroid, where it's just Super Metroid. It's Metroid, but Super, you know?
But it is also Metroid 3.
I know, but that's also detached from it. It's not Super Metroid 3. It's Metroid 3, Super Metroid. This isn't Castlevania 4, Super Castlevania, you know?
Yeah. Although I did find that the way Metroid does it a little weird. Like, I don't dislike it or anything.
Love Super Metroid as a title, but I think it's not very descriptive of the game, other than just given that the only time period where it makes sense is when it came out, where there's the first game, the second, and then the third, where it's more like the second game with elements, or more like the first game with elements of the second game, but supercharged, you know.
But I more so meant this series, not just Super Metroid, where, you know, Fusion is Metroid 4, but the title
I
of the
actually
game is
rather
Metroid 2.
appreciate that.
Like, I mean, I don't dislike it. It's a weird and interesting way of doing it.
I like it because it allows them to have the strengths of subtitles with, what's it called? It gives them the strength of subtitles, where they have a unique name per game, but they still clearly label the entries numerically. It's just, you don't call the game by that number, because that's just telling you which number it is. That's not the title of the game, you know? So it gives you the context of the continuity without, like, making the title boring, I guess, you know? Also, it's so many series do it, and Castlevania is not remotely the worst about it, but I'm not a fan of it's the next numbered entry, but it's actually a prequel. Castlevania 3, Final Fantasy, whatever the fuck.
Kingdom Hearts. Well, okay,
I'm also not
Final
fond of
Fantasy.
the-
Most of the games are in completely different universes.
Final Fantasy
Yeah.
something. I'm
But,
also not fond of what Castlevania does again, where a reimagining is numbered with the main series, which implies that it's a sequel, even though
Well,
it's...
yeah. I mean, that only happened with 4, I think.
Yeah, I know. And I also don't care for the Mega Man and Castlevania thing, where the Game Boy games were Castlevania 1 and 2, or Mega Man 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's like, what?
Castlevania 2? I already played that. Why is it there again?
Right? Like... It's not even the Castlevania Adventure 2.
Yeah, like...
If it was Adventure 2, I'd be like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, that would make sense.
But no, it's Castlevania 2. What?
You know, Belmont's Revenge would have been a fitting title for Simon's Quest.
Yeah? So would Dracula's Curse. Simon's Quest is generic?
Yeah. You know, I find it interesting, like, seeing all these logos together. How, like, you know, this game and, you know, the first game, you know, well, obviously with the first game, because the title is just Castlevania. But, like, you know, the word Castlevania is big and, like, you know, the centerpiece of the logo. But, then, like, for the other ones, you know, Simon's Quest is much bigger than Castlevania 2. Dracula's Curse is even, like... Even with the Adventure and Belmont's Revenge, and Bloodlines is the only, like, exception where it's, like, the title is the big one and the subtitle is, you know, a little smaller.
I'm gonna be real. I think the only one of these that I like the small title in is the Adventure, because it actually feels like it fits the logo well.
Yeah.
The other ones, it feels kind of uncomfortable, especially 3.
I can barely even see the 3. I have to, like, put my head very close to the screen to see the 3.
Simon's Quest is a bit better, but it's still, like, annoying. And Castlevania 2 is not the worst with Belmont's Revenge. But, like, it's still, I'd rather have the full logo. Also, I don't care for the fact that the logo is just kind of wrong on Belmont's Revenge. It's, like, squashed.
Yeah, it does look weird.
Like, the C is squashed. Like, and then they elongated the point on the right side, and it looks like... It kind of looks like a tumor.
Maybe we should do like a Castlevania logo tier list later.
Oh, Jesus.
I will say, 4's got a nice looking logo,
I like 4's.
especially the in-game one, which is.
I like how the C lines up the closes the loop of the embroidery, right?
Yeah.
And then the 4 kind of tapers it off.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have the classic, C shape, from the first game, but, but overall, I think it looks really good.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I like it.
Alright, I'm not gonna bother reading that description, so let's just go right in.
It's the same story as the first game, just it starts a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Instead of being after Simon gets to the castle, it's before he gets to the castle, and then the castle.
Konami.
Other than that, it's the same effective story.
You know what? That.
Yeah, you want to take a look at controls just in case? Or actually, controls aren't an option for this collection, that's right.
They were for the other games. Huh. Well, I
Were
hope
they?
they're not in yeah. Well, I hope they're not in stupid low positions for 4.
I would hope it's basically just the same as the Super Nintendo title.
Yeah, probably.
Especially given the SNES controller is the basis that modern controllers are built on.
Yeah.
We should go back to all the buttons being in a straight line.
I am cool with the 6-button layout. 4's probably... The 4-button diamond is probably better for accessibility, but I think the 6-button is got advantages.
No, I mean like all of the buttons, like all 6 of
row,
them, just being like a single straight line.
Yeah, fuck that.
Like it's like a keyboard, but
Every button, including the triggers.
The
Yeah,
only
yeah.
controller that works for is a fight
Including
stick.
the D-pad.
imagine a keyboard, but it's just completely linear.
Every 100 years, the forces of good mysteriously start to weaken. Damn, they do that shit annually. Thus, the power of Dracula starts to revive itself. His power grows stronger and stronger every 100 years.
You know, the writing is still a little awkward, but it's definitely better than the previous games.
Yeah. Dracula has revived many times. However, his sinister actions have been consistently thwarted by the Belmont family.
This is a lot better than 2 and 3.
3 or something. It's been 100 years since the last confrontation between Dracula and the Belmont family. But now, the serenity of Transylvania is being threatened by destructive forces.
Ganon and his minions.
Ganondorf.
In a dark and eerie night, Dracula rose from his grave to unleash his destructive power over the countryside. Once again, Simon Belmont is called upon to destroy Dracula. With only his wit and courage, he sets out to restore peace to Transylvania. Wait, so it's said that he comes back only like every 100 years, and that the last time he came back was 100 years ago, but Simon Belmont is once again fighting him.
Metaphorical?
I would chalk that up to mild translation kerfuffle.
Yeah, probably.
It's probably supposed to be once again a Belmont, but they specify Simon, so they got that kind of mixed.
Yeah.
Or alternatively, this is because it's the second time he's done it. Or at least, I think he's probably
Also,
done
isn't
it
that
once or twice.
every century, not not annually? You said annually before. It's like no.
Every century, whatever the fuck.
Whatever.
Centennially?
Centennially, I guess would be the
Probably.
red. You mean blue?
No.
So get ready for the controls to be very different but familiar. Also dedicated sub-weapon button.
Okay, whip and jump are on the correct buttons. Okay. Oh. Oh. Oh.
You cannot jump off of stairs in this game, but
I
you
don't
can drop
care.
off them
After
and jump
playing
on
so
them.
much 3. Oh.
No, I know. That's still a huge improvement. I'm just saying. Right shoulder button is knife.
Oh. It's so nice.
The whip moves in all 8 directions. You have midair control, dangle.
Yeah, if I just hold right, I go down the stairs. I don't need to hold down if it like goes off the platform.
Neato.
So nice. I'm gonna be so annoyed when I play another game that doesn't let me do this.
Mode 7.
Oh my god.
The future is now.
You're definitely going to be feeling a different gameplay tone with the stronger Simon here. Also, because the sprites are bigger, he just takes up more of the screen, which gives him more reach. The whip dangle does less damage, but it's still notably useful for some things.
It's got something over here, right? No? Okay.
If there is, I wouldn't know.
Oh my god, this game, it looks so cool. This was on Super Nintendo? It must have been like late in the light? What? But it looks so much better than Mario World.
It's also got a nice soundtrack. I rather enjoy this game's OST.
I'm gonna need to, see what I think of while playing it, or because I haven't really listened too much to it out. Like,
We'll say it's not as energetic as the previous games, but it's still not like
I know
atmospheric.
it's a different tone to the other ones, but like I don't know, I never cared too much for the soundtrack in general, outside of a few pieces. Like Theme of Simon is really good.
Oh, I love Theme of Simon. But in general, this game's moodier. And I do like its tone.
Bloodlines.
Also, color choice is still great. Ooh. Oh yeah, duck walk.
You can do the duck walk.
It's slow, but you can do it.
I miss the whip dangling.
This is, I think, the only classic game that has it.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, because Rondo didn't.
You need to do a special. You need to do a special run of
Bloodlines
just duck walking.
No.
I don't think he could beat the game like that. I think there are some timed hazards that literally he'd be going too slow for. Not to mention you can't duck walk on stairs, but you could make that an exception.
Right, how do you moonwalk?
I forget the way it works, but it's like, it might be a diagonal input? Not sure. Like up while holding right or something? On the stairs? There is a time limit.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
I think you...
better staircase.
Yeah, no, I think you use forward... I think you use the horizontal to say where you're facing, and up and down is moving.
Bitch!
Still knockback.
You dead bitch!
It is still a Castlevania game. Also, you got to the second block of the level with, like, almost no need to think about the hazards.
Yeah.
You know? Not that the
Yeah,
first
okay,
levels in Castlevania are normally hard. But, yeah, no, I think it's already can be seen how this has a different feeling. You really like the action set pieces they have. I am almost tempted to do a fucking in-depth color theory analysis of all of the goddamn classic Vanias, you know? This game, ooh, looks nice. There's a lot of good color choices here.
Alright, bitch, come out. Oh, candle meat.
Yeah, so something they added is turkey legs, or whatever the fuck they're called in this game, where they can come out of candles, and they drop a small amount of health. They are not as... They do not give you as much health as the full-on wall meat does, but, you know, it's health back that you would not have otherwise gotten. You know, I wonder if the 2 and the 3 work the same way in this as 1 and 3. You know, with, like, the killing enemies and candles.
I think that's the case for every game that has them.
I'm noting it because this game doesn't reuse the original Castlevania's code, I would think, right? Whereas 3 would. So that's the kind of thing that a designer could just not do because it's specific. It goes so fucking far. Cross boomerang should not go across the entire screen.
That's how it worked in 3, so...
That's why it's
Maybe it
called
worked
the
with-
cross
yeah, no,
boomerang,
when I was
'cause
playing
it goes
3
across
somewhat
the screen.
recently, it was like, yeah, it does. It's just, I like that this area is a stable, and the enemies here are horse heads and those weird like growth things that are almost like mold.
Okay. Those horse heads actually come back in Order of Ecclesia.
Also, using sub-weapons on stairs is so much better.
Yeah.
Or whip.
It was a pain to do that in 3.
Do you go up individual steps in this?
Nope.
No.
That's nice.
Okay. I think I told you I was doing a system where you do go up individual steps, but you can interrupt between steps. I mean, what? Nothing.
Cat's out of the bag.
No, it's not.
Why are you putting that cat in a bag?
Because he doesn't like cats.
There is no bag.
What is this, the Matrix?
Knife. I should have looked where I was standing.
Was that mid-air turn around over the Medusa head?
Control.
That's very different.
Knockback is pretty intense.
It's... yeah, no, like, the knockback almost exists to remind you that you're playing Castlevania. With the amount of control you have over everything else, the knockback is still, you know, Castlevania knockback. Those spinny floor platforms are things I thought came from this game. And then when I saw them in 3, I was like, oh shit! You know?
Yeah.
It also just seemed like something that would not be on a NES game because it would be complicated to work on, and something that like the Super Nintendo would make more feasible.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, 3's just like, yep. Hey! Crouch sub-weapon use. You can't do that in Rondo, I believe, but you can do that in Bloodlines.
Why is that horse's neck so stretchy?
Are you watching the YouTube?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, Red's also streaming it on Discord, which doesn't have the delay.
Oh, right.
But yeah, the horse do have the long, stretchy neck. How many fucking neck vertebrae does it have? You're only supposed to have, what, 7?
Well, what you don't know is that that thing was really a giraffe.
So you see that bat there, Red?
Yeah.
That represents a boss fight. You might have noticed there wasn't one at the end of that line, but there was one in the middle. Mossman.
Yeah.
Hands!
Oh boy, yes, that definitely was coming handy.
I did find it more useful than some people give it credit for, but not to just kill these spiders. You might as well just,
Like,
Hey, Friday, it's your favorite enemy.
True.
I do think that the sub-weapons should have gotten more love than they did, though, in this game's design. Even if I think people exaggerate their lack of utility.
they overhauled, your main control, but they didn't really touch the sub-weapons.
No.
Is that a
that's-
fucking...
It's basically
is-
like an armadillo.
I thought it was a hedgehog.
Like, I mean, I could throw the axe, or I could just do that.
Yeah, and it still only costs 1 heart, and you swim in them, so it's like, I mean, why not? The stopwatch is probably the most overtly useful one, simply because it is the one that is least covered by the whip. The cross still has good damage potential, but, I never found it as necessary in this. The knife actually can be useful simply for speed, but the knife still isn't, like, incredible or anything, Because while the whip still covers a lot of the screen, it doesn't cover, like, the whole thing. And sometimes you don't really feel like approaching, and the knife goes fast and just goes, wah! That said, if it's a small enemy, you can do the whole, like, whip twirling thing to do a get off me. Yeah.
Oh, you lost the money!
That's a watch.
Shut up.
That frog just died to a single whip dangle.
Why is a frog gonna kill me anyway?
It's home. What are you doing in my swamp?
Shrek Belmont.
Someone make a mod for this game.
Cough, cough.
Oh, chicken.
Put it in this rock. Oh, hey, what up? Is the bird like,
It's fucking weed enemies that they keep bringing back.
Oh yes, the natural enemy to be in a swamp.
Well, that's pathetic.
yeah.
And the level still goes on. Oh, okay.
It actually is better for this section than the cross
Or I
would
could
be.
just...
I find the axe is actually pretty good against these guys, simply because they do move around a bit, but... That doesn't mean the whip's bad, mind you, just,
Oh, I wasn't looking at the floor.
Mega Man, Mega Man! as nice as the large sprites in this game look, I do have to question if it was a good idea to make the sprites this large.
They clearly thought otherwise, considering the next two games they're smaller.
Also, at least on Genesis, there's more horizontal screen space.
Yeah.
That's the one I'm most looking forward to. Shocker.
The other thing is I have to figure out how I want to handle that one, considering, you know, it doesn't have infinite continuous.
It would obviously be cheating, but you literally could maybe consider doing it with save states at the beginning of every level to make it work like the other ones, but...
Yeah, but I wouldn't save the lives I have.
No.
And I think I heard that's also the same case with the passwords, where passwords don't. Well, they save the lives you had when you had it, and they don't, like, refill them. Which, is dumb. It's like, everything about that game looks really cool, except for that. Like, that's the one issue that game seems to have. It's like, I don't understand why they would go back on that after so many games of getting it right.
Now, the pacing's obviously faster, but I think you can see the levels are bigger.
Yeah.
Now, the game gets tougher, of course, and that will affect how quickly you beat the levels. But...
Yeah, I mean, like, so far, it's pretty breezy, but, you know.
Oh, did you have a subway? Oh, never mind, you do. Blended in with the rock for a moment, I didn't see it.
Does that water hurt me? Or is that just in fact?
Fun fact. I don't know if you've ever been into a cave, but I have, and as someone who's been to a cave before, this is actually one of the more realistic depictions of a cave in video games. Like, aesthetically.
Including the ball sacks?
If that's what you want to call it, yeah. Caves tend to have these drip-like structures to them because of how water erodes the surfaces.
Science, bitch!
I mean, that's kind of the opposite of how it happens. It more gets this sort of, like, these cavities in it because the drips end up dripping off of the stalagmites, forming sort of a ribbed column around it.
Well, yeah.
Over time, it's not
That was-
eroding it; it's building
That's
up.
what
over time.
erosion is. Water
Erosion's
carves
basically
off
No,
the part of the
erosion is
stone.
actually very specifically the ridding of material, like material being blown
Yes,
away.
and that's what happens in caves. Water ribs it by carving out parts of it and forms stalagmites
No,
by
as
depositing it on the ground.
no, as stalagmites are forming,
Yes.
ribs are formed by drips falling off of the stalagmites until they eventually reach a lower part of the stalagmite, leaving a hollow space between them.
I know, and they
It's-
drag that material from the rocks above.
It's
Pulling
dissolved
it
in the water, not
Yeah. And
being
how
eroded.
did it dissolve in the water, Colin?
Yeah, but the ribbing didn't form from erosion. The ribbing formed but from
It
accumulation.
formed as a byproduct of the erosion.
Ay, vey.
Alright,
No, it's the stalagmites are not eroded. They're
No,
accumulated.
the stalagmites aren't eroded. They are the product of erosion.
Yeah, but the
Anyway.
ribbing form on the stalagmite isn't.
anyways, that platform and, you know, those ones kind of look like a Metroid with a nose.
Also, how do you feel about the whip dangle control? I know you've played a few less games with that in it, but do you know what I mean about it feeling different? Like, it's got a different responsiveness. It's less responsive than Symphony, but more than Harmony, I think. I think so far this game has my favorite whip dangle. but I don't know if I've played all the games that have it.
Oh yeah, Portrait has it.
Aria has it.
Yeah, when you're playing as Julius.
Okay. Yeah, no, there's definitely some more for me to try out, but
And
when I was
by
playing
extension,
Symphony, I felt it was oversensitive.
and by extension, Dawn also has it because that also has the Julius mode.
Ooh, Fred, you gonna play Haunted Castle?
No, I
already
explained that in
established
the
that.
first stream.
I forgot.
I wasn't there.
So I feel like with this one, you can actually do some pretty specific, like, D-pad maneuvers to get the, some specific D-pad maneuvers to get the whip to move in a very particular pattern you want it to. I find in Symphony of the Night, the, whip more so than anything tends to kind of just do big circles almost no matter what pattern you move the D-pad in. There's exceptions, but
That
I feel like in
jellyfish
this
is
I have more fine control.
that jellyfish is really durable.
Yeah, I think that was, you know, an enemy that was also in 3 that, like, could only really defeat by freezing it. Which, we don't have Cypher here. Oh
No,
my
you just
goodness.
have fucking overcharged Simon. Simon's like, guys, just point the whip in a different direction. What?
I don't understand. You know how you swing forward? Do that, but, like, up? Or, like, at an angle?
Yeah, no, like, I do find it funny because I've talked before about, while I do like this game, this isn't my preference. But it does answer the logical, but wait, why don't you just whip upward?
And then there's Mega Man who's never figured it out.
Yeah, no, it's a lot like Mega Man, where, like, why don't you just point your gun up? It feels like with every Metroid game, they went, but why can't you point your gun that way? And then the creators went, oh, okay. Like, in Metroid 2, it was just like, but why can't you do it while you're crouching? And it's like, oh, okay. But what about diagonals? Oh, okay.
But what about it's 360 degrees?
Samus Returns, okay.
We ran out of What if at the 4th wall?
What if 3 dimensions of rotation instead of just 1? Okay. Except
What
that
if you
happens
shot the camera and then
That
the
I
game
do.
stopped working?
Yeah!
Yeah, I'm concerned that the camera's not going back down.
It's not going back down, just swing back.
Just like, Rich, want to check out each. Alright. Ugh. You know, I talked about it in previous streams, but, you know, I might as well go over that I have actually played this game before. I haven't beaten it. I forget how far I got in the game. I think I at least got to the room where you're hanging on, like, the swing thing while the room itself is rotating.
Yeah.
I think I remember getting at least that far. I don't know if I got any farther.
Born dragon. Turns out the candle you skips has meat. Idiot. I don't know. Oh well, looks at your health.
There's the meat.
Was the whip this fast in the other games? It seems similar. I'm not sure if it is faster. It's definitely not slower.
I think it might be a little faster, but I'm not too certain. But yeah, so, like, I have played the game before years ago on an emulator. It was the first Castlevania game I played. Damn. And, I think I mentioned in the previous stream as well that, like, in a similar way to how I felt about, like, classic Resident Evil, where, like, I wasn't I didn't really have much of a desire to play classic Vania, mainly because of the controls, like the way that jumping worked. Like, it just on the outside, it looked kind of sort of intimidating to get into, and like, it didn't help that my main exposure to Castlevania was from the nerd who really talked up this game because of its controls. And so, you know, the previous games and the ones even after that went back on the controls didn't feel all that appealing to me.
That was actually what was a big deal about Egoraptor at the time, was because that was the standard opinion when that video was made.
Yeah.
Was that 4 was the best of them because it controls better. And Egoraptor was one of the only people who was just like, is it better? You love tripping on the weed.
Fucking weed.
Whip the weed. Huh?
Where those boxes coming from?
I don't know. He just joined the call. What's his problem? What's your problem? Huh?
What?
He has a thing against boxes. He has a thing against boxes.
No, I'm just asking, why are you falling on my head?
Maybe he
I don't
fucking
know,
needed a
I
spot
just-
to land. Would you prefer he died?
I'd
I
rather,
felt like it.
I'd rather he'd find somewhere else to land.
I don't know. I just felt like it. At least you didn't die.
Yeah.
As a
Whoever
wise
used
man once
classic
said, Lamau, lol.
But yeah, anyways, so because of a lot of the content I saw about the game, 4 was the one that piqued my interest the most, because it was like, it's the one with good controls, basically, as it sounded like. It's fucking eye.
So-called free thinkers when they watch an Egoraptor video.
That fucking eye. What the fuck?
He had enough of you missing.
I was about to jump and like throw the cross, but fuck.
Whose sub-weapons
But
are
wait,
you?
Red. But wait, Red. That was rude. It just wanted to take a good look at you.
When you die in a level and then you remember, oh wow, the levels in this game are big.
Oh,
That was the same level.
fuck.
I do like the more dynamic theming and set pieces of this game, though.
Yeah, it's like one thing that the nerd complained about with you know, Symphony of the Night Onward is that the games basically had to entirely take place in the castle, which isn't true for all of them. But he likes the different environments outside the castle.
I don't want every Castlevania game to be focused on Dracula's castle, or even have to be in it at all.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, Dawn of Sorrow, doesn't take place in the castle. Portrait of Ruin does, but, you know, it has the portraits that go to different places.
I mean, Castlevania 4 and 3 partially are in the castle, but are also partially build up to the castle.
Yeah.
Both of them have a distinct point where the map changes, and it's like, this part is in the castle, you know?
Yeah.
Bloodlines takes place across Europe.
Yeah.
You get into the castle pretty quickly in Rondo.
Also, technically, I don't even think it's Castle Dracula in Bloodlines, is it?
I think the first level...
The first level is Dracula's castle.
Yeah.
Oh, I was meaning the later one, but yeah. Regardless, very little of it takes place in the castle. More of it takes place in a castle. But not all of it.
But yeah, so, with how people tended to discuss Castlevania back then, you know, this was the only one I was really willing to try. in a similar way to like how Resident Evil was something I didn't have interest to get into because of tank controls.
Okay, I don't know if this is a hot take, but anyone that complains about tank controls is an absolute bitch. Like,
I don't
genuinely,
think- I
tank
don't-
controls can make games easier in a lot of cases when they use certain types of camera.
Yeah, I mean, generally I'm not a fan of tank controls, but I don't think it's like a bad, I don't think it's bad design. And
Oh, I fucking love tank controls.
there are
don't-
certain games that I like it with that I don't think I would want changed, like Resident Evil 4.
That Mario Party minigame you keep beating IKG in. Because he doesn't know how to do tank controls.
Well, that's a different kind of tank controls.
Well, it's
Is
just
it 'cause
mapped
you're in a
differently.
tank?
I mean,
But
it's more accurate,
It's a vehicle.
I guess, but
I mean, you
the
just
way-
have a stick that goes forward and back, and a stick that goes left and right.
well, the way it works is
Still functionally tank controls.
the way it works is left stick controls the left tracks, while the right stick controls the right tracks.
Oh, right.
Oh, that is a bit different.
Yeah, that's it's more literal tank controls, but
It's still in function, forward, backward, left turn, right turn. Just
Yeah.
you input it a little
But-
weird.
yeah, the point is, it's just something where it's like the controls of these sounded like I wouldn't like them in a similar way to how Resident Evil sort of put me off just with that, but so I did play this a bit on an emulator, didn't beat it, and I remember thinking it was alright, but nothing too special. And so I just kind of stopped with classic Castlevania and went on to play the Igavanias.
Part of my biggest problem with this game is that while it is a rather well-designed platformer and it's fun, it's tightly paced and a good ride, it kind of threw away a lot of what made the early, 1 and 3, like, really bold and interesting.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean this is a poorly designed game.
Yeah, like, I mean, I didn't really have any, like, notable issues with the game when I played it then. It was just, I don't know, didn't leave too much of an impression on me.
I think that it is a better designed video game than 1 and 3, at least probably 3. I still need to, play more of it, but...
Why is this eye always in the most awkward position stand?
It wants to check you out. It's eyeing you.
Well, I want it to respect my personal space.
You're not into eyeballs?
No.
That's what we call a bitch move in the industry.
But wait, Red, how is someone going to check you out if they don't use their eyes?
Hands.
Give you a quickie.
Blind
I can't
people-
see you. I can't see you, but I can feel you.
The
Okay,
eye
that's the
floated
tone we're
over.
going with now.
The eye floated over. It was like, hey, you want an eye job?
I mean, you're criticizing an eyeball for doing literally the only thing it is capable of doing.
Let me undress you with my eye.
It doesn't. Yeah, it's like this is the only thing it can do in its life is look at you, and you're criticizing it for that.
Yes.
Let me undress you with my eye.
You see it take its eyelid, pinches it shut to grab your clothes.
I know it can't even view things three-dimensionally. Everything is two-dimensional because there's only one eye.
Well, just not depth
There's no
perception.
depth perception, yeah. So nothing appears 3D to them.
I think you can still, in some ways, gauge a relative
Well,
thing.
yeah, there are
Yeah,
other ways
it's
to
called-
gauge
yeah,
depth
called
than
spec-
literal
like shadows and stuff,
stereoscopic
but yeah.
vision. There are animals that don't have depth perception.
Yep. I mean, they can still perceive the world around them. It's just not quite as effective.
Well, yeah, it's
They also often rely on other senses.
Yeah, generally speaking.
Look at your 85 hearts. I think it's worth noting that not just you use sub-weapons less, but they give you, like, a lot of hearts. And I definitely agree with the sentiment that Simon takes up a little much of the screen. Because his whip is almost always in reach of something, you know?
Yeah.
Really, very conveniently built.
Then you get to, like, climb through the ruined city that was above those cavernous ruins and marsh, and the water floods, and it's a dragon! You know? It's cool
You know-
shit.
3 actually had a set piece somewhat similar to this.
And also the sprite effects here with the pseudo-rotation on the dragon's necks is actually pretty well done, even by the standards of the system. Like, you can still tell it's just ball joints and not like a real neck, but it looks better than a lot of games I've seen do that effect. Are at it. You can also see that this game kind of is starting the aesthetic that would lead to the Rondo and Symphony art style. Like, there's a number of aesthetic similarities. Let's see if you can swing somewhere useful.
I need to, like, go off screen.
Okay. But, yeah. I do think Rondo is the best looking of those games, of the classic Vanias, but... Wow, shocker.
Yeah, although, Bloodlines also looks pretty good.
Oh yeah, I'm not sure if I prefer Bloodlines aesthetically to this game, but it is also very impressive for Genesis.
Yeah.
And that is a genuine not sure. Like, you know, I need a little more experience.
Oh. Oh.
Burp.
Fucking birds. Birds are bullying me.
Yeah, successfully.
Yeah, I didn't pay attention to, like, how many lives I started with.
Neither did I.
But anyways, the point I was mainly trying to get to is back then, you know, I played this one over any others because of, you know, the controls and such, but, but my perspective on it has shifted, where, like, the ones that I was the most looking forward to trying are, Rondo and Bloodlines, while this one is like, yeah, it'd be nice to play it, but, like, yeah, it's just like
Yeah,
another game in there as opposed to, oh, I really want to play that one.
it's a fun game. I think it was
What the
some...
fuck?
You keep jumping into those birds. Like, birds in that section. Run! Oh god, not quick. Do you take knockback on stairs in this game? I don't
No.
remember. You'd almost be better off staying on the stairs at that point. My man sees stairs and realizes he can jump on them and drop off them. He's like, rush the stairs! It's almost like he's playing Grant.
Why have birds been the most annoying enemies at Castlevania?
They're
Like-
harder to hit.
They were by far the most annoying enemies in 3. I was holding up.
I've had moments like that occasionally. Sometimes I think it doesn't like diagonals, I'm not sure.
Uh, yeah, man.
The minimum whip length being just barely enough.
Yeah, I guess we'll see how I feel at the end of this game, but I think on paper I would prefer the way the other games handle like controls and such.
Yeah, I do as well, minus the obvious improvements like stairs, but
Yeah. I think the main thing that this game does that I'd want for all games is you know, the better stairs and
some small
Sub-weapon
quality of life
button.
things about the like sub-weapon button.
yeah.
I like the more dynamic level design and presentation. I think that it's also just got more polished level design. I don't think it's as appealing on paper to me, in the sense of, again, I don't think it's as bold and unique as the previous games, given it's less rigid by the rules and systems of a Castlevania game.
Yeah, it's
You know.
just, you know, Castlevania 1 but supercharged, basically.
And I would say I do like playing this game more than Castlevania 1. But that's not because I prefer this style of Castlevania, you know? I just think that this game does what it's doing better than Castlevania 1 does what it's doing. Ooh. Got the nose boops there.
There we go.
I will say I found the bosses in this game to be a bit on the easy side. Not all of them, but most of them.
Okay, yeah, one level that's on Alucard's path, that's on another branch, the downward one. There's something similar where, like, you fight dragons, and then the place floods, and then you have to fight the dragon again. Which, is pretty neat set piece.
So this is a fortress before you get to the castle.
Oh god, circle, move!
Recognizing the music from there.
Yeah!
I have more positive memories of that track.
I
'Cause
don't.
I remember it from this game.
Ugh.
and I heard the Circle of Moon version. It's like, wow, it's crunchy.
Like those, like the skulls turning. to
Looking
me.
at you, yeah. I am continually really liking this game's artistic direction and, again, color palette. Ooh.
Honestly, this one I think feels like the most Halloween-y.
Yeah, it uses a lot of similar color choices to the first game, but more vivid and varied because it can be. The first game had very similar color palettes to this, just, again, there's only so much the NES can do.
Can I help you?
The fact... Yeah! This game relies a lot on, like, kind of like, steely blues, some muddy greens, deep purples, and bright oranges, which are a very Halloween-y color palette. And the first game had a lot of that, too.
I hit job. Eh, whatever, it's probably for the best.
Lives at 04.
Wow, 2 more than 3.
Suppose they looked at the levels being longer.
Yeah, probably.
Items drop on stairs. Huh.
Do they, or did I just pick it up when I touched this?
The bag was waiting for you on the steps.
I wasn't paying that much attention.
I've never noticed that before. That's actually kind of cool.
You know, I do got a question. What they were going for with Simon's sprite being so red.
To be fair, it does fit the color palettes of the levels pretty well.
I mean, like, I do like how, you know, the sprite looks, but, you know, when we're... But before, I thought he was, like, wearing, like, some kind of reddish cloth underneath the armor. And it's
no,
like,
he's just got the pink skin.
Oh, he's just sunburned. Okay.
He's just one of those white people. I will say, though, this game has a smoother difficulty curve than games like 1 do. Because, like, the game's still not, like, hard, but you can tell the challenge has been ramping up each level. And this game does like using platforming challenges more, and to a greater extent than the previous games, which makes sense with its greater degree of control, you know. That they made the platforming more complex.
I wonder what the, you know, thought process, or, like, what the reason for making the controls like this was.
I don't know. Maybe there was critique of it and they wanted to try something, or maybe they had an idea of just a more action-packed game with the things like the whip swinging. And they're like, well, if that's a direction we want to go, then maybe we should also make you have more direct control in general. And maybe after experimenting with it, they found they didn't want to go in that direction.
Yeah,
Maybe it was by different teams. Although, I still get the impression with this game's design that the people who made 1 and 3 made this game. There's a lot of parallels between 1 and 3 and this game's design, whether it's like individual features or just similar structures and design choices. It's always possible it's somebody who's well read on their design, but you know. I like that I don't have to do too much legwork of interpretation to figure out what the environments are supposed to be and what the traveling is like in this game. Although, Castlevania was always still ahead of the game in that front on NES, where even the NES games still, you had a pretty good idea of what kind of environment you were in. Also, I didn't notice until when you first walked up to this thing, it has, like, vampire teeth.
Oh.
Oh.
And this is the area.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, I know I've at least made it here. I don't know how much farther in the game I made it, though.
This is still before the halfway point right now.
And we're almost at the hour mark, and no one said anything in chat.
So sad. Yeah, this game has 12 levels. And you're on 4.
Okay, they're coming a little fast here. Damn it.
I'm giving you a little tip before you try that again. You're not getting a jump like that.
Okay.
Your goal is not to jump to the next platform. And wonder what they did with the leather whip to make it rotate. Oh, that's individual sprites, much like the... Okay. I just saw the line break. You don't spend a lot of time with a leather whip, so I haven't studied it too closely. I probably should study it.
I'm just supposed to survive.
Pretty much. Hang on for dear life, Simon. Don't drop, don't do it. That platform going away. Wait. Don't drop.
Oh, just look at what the Super Nintendo can do.
Rotate a whole ass room upside down. So I've often thought, so this level's in a tower, right? And then the room rotates like this. And then this place is tumbling, looking like the inside of a cylinder. Did the tower, like, fall over and now it's collapsing?
Now it's rolling.
Maybe. I mean, I understand part of this is just to show off what they can do with the Super Nintendo, but... I mean, it would make sense if that's what's happening. And that would explain the, like, tower flipping upside down there with the room over there. That, like, you went up there and it started collapsing. Now it's like, oh, shit!
Thank God, this part's laggy.
Yeah, no, this room lags. I don't know how the fuck the blocks go up here, though. There is a such thing as crush deaths in this game.
You mean you don't just click through it?
Something worth noting that might come in mild use to you is you do have duck walking. No drop down. Red's sitting here going, what the fuck?
I don't know which way's the right way. Or if it matters.
Pretty sure this is a looping section.
Oh. What the fuck?
The correct direction is to the right, vaguely. Based. I'm Simon Belmont. I'm not afraid of blocks.
Those things shoot a lot slower than 3.
Hey, it's above your head. 3 US at least. So they are faster in the US version of 3.
Yeah. Well, I think I remember them even being a little faster in Japanese, but I don't know, maybe not. Ugh.
Stop it! I don't like it when you whip me.
But I like it when I whip you.
Why are you out damaging me? That's not fair! Why does he deal more damage than me.
It's your...
Got him. My ass. the whip dangle.
You know, in this in 3, it's a little sad you can't do, like, you know, the jump and whip, but you can do a cool pose. He's dead to castle.
My God, it's the Castlevania.
It's John Castlevania himself.
Welcome to level 5. I don't believe there are any branching path options in this game.
Nope.
It's still straightforward, just like the first game.
That's the thing that only happens in 3 and Rondo, right?
Think so?
There we go. Fleeman with the birds.
Except they're not Fleetman, they're the things from 3. JP.
They can't seem to make up their minds what they want between Fleeman or whatever the things the Japanese version are.
They're like weird bunny demon looking things.
Get more skeletons.
They're back.
Oh, they're bitches.
Only bitch I hear is you.
I'm the only one that should use a fucking whip. Yeah, yeah.
I am.
Wait, these stairs work differently.
Oh no, it's a slope.
It's bullshit. Where's the consistency?
Oh, I'm sorry. Would you like it to be that way? And then there's a bottomless pit below it for some fucking reason? Hey, the statues with candles, and then...
Oh, wait a second.
The door? You're in the castle. That was level 5.
Oh my god.
Level 5 didn't have a boss. It was also small.
I mean, 3 had a couple small levels without bosses.
Welcome to level 6! IKG Productions says in chat, you like Castlevania, don't you?
Yes. Wait. Just, something's not quite right here.
Oh.
Where's the vampire killer?
That's the music for the final level.
I mean, I know it's in the game, but like... Ow.
Taking down the axe armors and the bats the moment they fucking show up and breathe.
Yeah, they definitely nerfed axe armors.
I mean, less screen space for them to harass you. And it's easier to keep them in whip range.
Ow. Didn't seem to really stun him much.
Not to mention that the whip dangle can just delete projectiles. Simon Belmont fucking duck walking or moonwalking every stairs.
Ah, yes, this room.
Mode 7.
You know, I always did like it when games early in a console's lifespan tried to show off just for the sake of it.
Yeah, it's a decent gameplay segment here. It's a little repetitive, given they kind of just do the same thing 3 times, but, yeah. It actually does add a unique type of platforming challenge that
Yeah.
is very different for Castlevania. And this game included. Oh no, I'm sorry, they have a 4th one here, although it's a little different.
Yeah, good thing that platform was there. Why is this, like, the background, like, just flashing red?
Danger.
It's supposed to be, like, because of the candles on the chandeliers?
Don't like think too logically about it.
Okay.
We got the green and purple and a little bit of brown color scheme. Ooh, some gray tones.
Alright then.
They have a blast radius when they hit the ground because they shattered.
I can see that.
The candles are projectiles. These guys have complex patterns. They're not terribly difficult to take care of, but you know. Those things bounce. You know the DVD logo? It's an enemy.
God damn it. You know, I wonder what this game would be like if you took it and the only thing you did was change the controls to be like older games. Would the game even be beatable?
Well, I'm going to go on the assumption that you can still do shit like whip swinging.
Yeah.
Maybe. Although there are times where the whip swing points might expect you to aim diagonally or upwards. In terms of attacking enemies, almost always sub-weapons would still just be an option.
It's just like a dude that runs at you.
This hallway's full of ghosts. And then the axe armors. The axe armors here like, why are you killing the ghost patrons? We're just here to have a good time and you're being an asshole.
Oh, I see how it is.
Hey. Oh.
Rabbits.
Fucking bitches of bats. You've been playing the game for a little over an hour.
An hour 13.
You're almost halfway through. The last level is C, which, you know, 9, A, B, C, you know, so. That would be 12 levels. You know, 3 I would imagine has more levels, but, you know, you play 10 of them to beat the game.
I don't trust this coffin.
Red doesn't trust the coffin.
Candle.
Why? What did the coffin do to you, Red?
Shook at me.
Okay. Is it not allowed to be trembling in fear at the might of Simon Belmont? This room has a foreground, and I thought that was pretty neat. Black skeleton. Oh, I'm sorry. Circle the Moon said red skeleton.
No, that was a Harmony of Dissonance.
Oh, right. Harmony of Dissonance said red skeleton. Ooh. At least it's not the Castlevania Chronicles. Remember those blood skeletons?
Where's the wall hit? What hands? Why are you hittable? Okay. I guess I could just walk through you. This is weird.
I don't know what the fuck is up with those skeletons. I don't know what you did to have those skeletons be intangible and disappear. The hands you crouch under, but the fucking skeletons? I don't know. We heard you mock our brother. Oh god! The blue circles from Mario World, but you just fucking whip them.
Fucking table? Get killed by a fucking table?
Yeah. The mighty Simon Belmont defeated by a table. Note, you still are in the first castle level.
Yeah, I'm realizing I am
Castle
kind of low on lives.
Yeah, no, the castle definitely is a little tougher than the pre-castle levels.
No.
Seize table.
Yeah.
Yeah? I feel like fucking ghosts, fucking tables. If I wanted to deal with a dancing ghost couple, I'd play Luigi's Mansion. Clearly this is like the ballroom or something.
I needed that.
Note to self, one up in that corner.
Alright, who's it gonna be? Oh, okay.
They have swords.
Fuck off.
Them throwing ghost swords at you. I did like that fight, but I just thought it was weird how quickly they die.
Well, I mean, otherwise there's not a whole lot of... You're too big, it's kind of hard to avoid them.
No, I know. I thought it was interesting with the patterns and the layout, but like... Gold face. Welcome to the Library.
Library?
Liberty City.
Fucking libs.
Libs be like read a book.
Simon no read.
Book no. Useful doesn't kill demon. Richter Belmont using the Bible as a weapon. Wait!
Well, that guy decided he wanted out.
The shield fuckers from at least it's a downward going section, so like
yeah. Those guys are sons of bitches in 3.
yeah, that's the thing. They use a lot of ideas from 1 and 3 in this game, but they also tend to expand a lot more, and also are just usually better polished. I mean, hell, how many times have stairs been a nuisance? And not even just because of stair controls. Stairs tend to be better implemented here than they are in 3, while used more than they are in 1.
Yeah.
And then just, you know, the stairs also just control better. But... I know definitively I prefer this game to 1. I'll have to see how I feel about it versus 3, because that seems like it's just a weird one for me.
Yeah, so far, yeah, it's kind of hard to tell. I was like, this game is certainly the most polished of, you know, the 4. I think I would agree better than 1, but, like, yeah, 3 is a weird one, because there's a lot about 3 that I rather liked. It's mostly the lack of polish that bothered me with that.
This game is simultaneously safer and the most risky of the 4. Like, it goes back to basics and sits down on a lot of just design fundamentals done well, unlike the other games, but it completely abandons the formula of the other games that people did like. But on the other hand, the formula of the other games was already risky and different from traditional platformers, and the changes here make it more like a traditional platformer with Castlevania elements, you know?
Yeah.
So it's weird. I like it. It's just it's weird.
Fuck you. Under the rug.
I also just like the creativity of some of like the little hazards in the levels.
Yeah.
Like, this game is genuinely charming. Each level has a good, strong sense of identity where it's like, no, that's the level that's like this, and this is the level that's like that, you know? They do still reuse things, obviously, but, like, they still feel different enough. Ah! That dog just knocked down a candle. That's a whole lot of nope, says the red guy.
Yeah, I heard about that thing where it just kind of disappears when you approach it. It's a little weird.
The fuck was that? Candles. I was dropping off of stairs.
this, why did I jump? Why did I hit that button?
Why did I jump?
Do the level over.
You did start it with 2 lives, basically.
I was thinking of just, like, killing myself twice at the start, but there was no, like, pit easily accessible.
Back to book territory.
Books.
This one section of level design reminds me of Death's level in 1.
Yeah.
You know? And then there's, like, the pit area over here, although there's more platforms. Except, you know, Death's was in a dungeon and this is a library. Unless... What are they trying to say? The prison of learning.
No, the library is to be kept as quiet as death.
Who's making
No,
all
those
that fucking
skeletons-
noise? Spellbot!
The skeletons in the first game look like they're constantly giggling about something, though. The Castlevania...
I was
Nice.
holding up. What the fuck?
The Castlevania skeleton design tier list. The NES Vania skeletons, #1, because... The HUD for this game also was always interesting to me, because you can tell simultaneously that this game is more modern than the NES games, while still being kind of a glorified NES game on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
Because it literally is like the HUD of the old games, but cleaned up without a background and a little bit of polish, you know?
Yeah.
But it's still just as cluttered and text-heavy as those games were. But it's shinier. Honestly, Castlevania really doesn't need that much HUD information, you know?
Yeah, like, honestly,
What?
why do I need to know, like, what level I'm in? Does that really matter?
Yeah, the level doesn't need to be listed. Like,
the game shouldn't have a time limit, so that should go.
hearts and lives being tracked is fine, same with sub-weapon and player health. Score... I get it, but I also kind of prefer what Curse of the Moon 2 does a little bit. Boss health doesn't need to be there, and also you can restructure these things to take up less room. The sub-weapon icon doesn't need to take up that much space. You just, again, just nice. Remove the level text.
Oh.
You also don't need it to say player health there, especially if it's the only bar and it goes down when you get hit. Always wondered about bloated score bars where they count points in tens or hundreds exclusively. Is there a reason you don't just say 1 point? Is it to make people feel good? Like, artificially? Bigger number? You know? Because how many games do you know, with a score, as in a lot, that have it only count in tens or hundreds or some shit, you know?
Yeah.
And they don't even use the ones digit. monologue out here like, I hate candles.
You call that breaking a candle?
Honestly, the concept of an enemy that removes candles for you to use is actually pretty funny.
They know.
They're learning!
Except not really, because Dracula never fucking gets rid of them.
That's his contingency plan, we're gonna just send you dogs, go get rid of them.
Why don't you
Ruby
just not
Rex.
have them in the first place?
It's for lighting so I can read and not trip in the darkness.
Yo, I would have figured you'd be able to see in the dark.
You can't see when there's literally no light. I can see better in the dark, but not like I still need light. Do you know how physics works? Oh right,
Mate,
you're illiterate,
you should just get
uneducated
all your-
barbarian. Never mind.
Get all your books in Braille and then read it with
yes, 'cause I sure
echolocation.
want to never see again.
Right, just echolocate on
How
it.
lovely.
You're a bat, remember? You're a vampire.
Bats have really good eyesight. What does that mean?
See with your ears, damn it.
I can do that too, but that's not the same thing.
So why'd you always fight Simon with the lights on then? And the other
so
bellman?
I can see?
But they can't
Also,
see in the
it's
dark.
more dramatic.
You just don't get it.
I guess not.
Uh-oh. Fuck. Fucking rug.
I like the set piece there with the rug. The feeling of fuck, what do I do? And then you remember it doesn't hurt you, but you can crouch and you're like, oh! Axe armor hallway.
I'm so intimidated.
It's no Medusa heads this time.
I have no set weapons. Oh, but he
You had
does.
no sub-weapons. You had no sub-weapons for the last boss. I don't think you noticed that time, though.
Ow. It's not like you really need the weapons.
The boss patterns are also,
Yeah, the bosses are a bit more mindless here. You just kind of just whip them.
a lot of them are potentially interesting with unique, varied movesets, phases, and like charismatic designs. Grayish. Every once in a while, it's just like, I mean, this is still Castlevania 1, but it's also different.
Yeah. So I'm
You
guessing
know?
you're gonna be fighting the mummies down here. Or no, it was...
Are you?
Or no.
The mummy's what that would have been. Up there.
Yeah. So this
Also,
would be...
Medusa was outside the castle.
Yeah.
First level didn't have the bat.
Now.
So throw yourself at it again.
Just to make sure. Go away, spider.
Oh, see, it doesn't kill me. Oh shit, it does. But it didn't kill me when the spider touched me. Spiders, good luck. I don't need luck. I'm a bell one. Spiders are pitying me. I pity this. Ow! Luck hurts. Ah!
Fuck.
You see, that drop is green.
What is it, like fucking acid?
Maybe it's just the shitter.
Oh god.
I mean, this is the sewer.
Tell about you fighting. Oh god, you stink.
You smell like that fat shit I took yesterday. Oh. Did you go in my sewers? Why would you go there?
Floor collapsed.
That's kind of funny. But now you're smelling up my room. Get out.
You know,
Douse
it's
yourself
funny.
in holy water if you must.
You know, it is funny dropping Belmont into the sewer, but not when he just stinks up my throne room.
I like throwing
Simon,
wine
you did it.
glasses in here.
Simon, you should have said you were the plumber. Here to fix the sewer.
It's a me. Pulls out the whip. The plumber.
Suddenly Mario Belmont shows up.
Die, monster. You don't belong in this world.
So that sludge works like mud, but you take damage when you touch it. It's not instant death, but it's, you know.
Honestly, I probably should just kill myself.
Are we doing the equivalent of what you do in this level of the original Castlevania? The sewer level of that game? Or cave level, I guess, whatever. It's weird, because this game is, it's not the same game. That's why I don't like to call it a remake, you know?
Yeah.
It's very distinctly a separate game, but then there's always the moments that remind you that it's still supposed to be the same events in the same castle. And then they did that again with fucking Chronicles, right? Like,
Yeah. And then there was Haunted Castle.
how many times do they tell the same fucking story with different games? 4 at least.
And why Simon? Like, he's so insignificant.
He's important to our hearts and souls.
Like, you know, as important as, you know, Castlevania 3 is to the timeline, they've never done that again.
They never remade it in any capacity. You would think that Giga would think of doing something like that given how much it matters to him. He did with Rondo at least, but... Although Rondo's probably the Classicvania he gives the most of a shit about.
It's the Castlevania I think most people give most of the shit about.
Well, yeah, but his wife literally was one of the people who worked on the game.
Oh,
You have no choice but to say that it's the most important.
I think there might be a degree of nepotism.
Right? What did she do for the game?
I don't remember. It might have been an art position, but I'm not sure. I read that on a wiki like a few weeks ago. I don't remember exactly what.
Me when I spread misinformation on the internet.
Ah, yes. Friday's like, you fool. I put that article there, and it was fake.
It was me, Barry.
I
Friday's
planted
a
that
reason
article
to
so I
lie.
could make you look like an idiot in like 4 streams from now.
So Friday's the reason we're not allowed to reorganize Wikipedia into a school report.
Friday's the reason we're not allowed to provide the workers with the means of production. That was narrow.
fuck.
Or you leap.
Wait, am I still at the... Did I still not reach the checkpoint?
Nope.
What the
You
fuck?
were. That whole section was in block 8-1.
Eh.
Simon is not feeling very emotionally stable today.
Huh.
So are you saying this level is the difficulty spike just like in the original?
I mean, it's not really much more difficult. It's just why so long
I
without
know.
a checkpoint.
I know. It's... Again, this game does have more of a curve than the first game does. Where the first game is notably divided into halves, you know?
Yeah.
With level 3's credit, it's still somewhat tough, but I still think there's a noticeable gap between it and 4. Also interesting to think about the fact that this game has double the level count of the first game. It's interesting that they made 3 Castlevania games back on, 8-bit machine with the NES. But when it came to the 16-bit era, they also made 3, but across 3 different platforms. Kind of because they ported Dracula X to Super Nintendo, but also it was different.
And worse.
It's not even like Sega Saturn, version of Symphony or anything, where it's just, the same game, but with some downgrades. It's, just worse designed.
Why
they
right
fuck with the game design? Because I guess the level felt it was big enough to warrant that. I do think that should be a check. Red when he just fucking does it.
No. Damn it.
Yes? I am a bone dragon! Ow! My nose! I will breathe fire! You'll die to the green droplets of death!
Nope.
You did last time.
Not this time.
Fuck! Can anyone do anything about this Belmont? Seriously, who put the wall meat there?
Sewer wall meat.
Definitely not infected.
Uh-oh. Bitch! This better be a checkpoint.
Take lucky too. That skeleton there fucking jimmying. Doing a little bit of a jig on the chains.
Can't even tell what it is. It's hell of this shit's in the way.
Yeah, no, it's the upper part of a torso of a skeleton. It's like pelvis down got cut off. I love the ones that just hang from the walls and ceilings like that. They're so goofy. There's another one of them there.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me free! Every skeleton is Skeletor, don't you know? Unless it's Sans!
Yeah, but the vampires is just Skeletor.
Exactly! We're going to take over the internet this year. Why did skeleton army memes have to die away? They were good. And they were seasonal. They never overstayed their welcome. We did them like 2 or 3 years in a row and then we stopped. Bring back annual skeleton memes.
Oh.
Why are the Bone Boys out there, like, the most amusing of, like, the traditional Halloween monsters? Skeletons are just so fucking goofy. They're also very culturally universal because, you know, it's literally just the bones of a human being, which all cultures have.
Yeah.
Just now it's alive.
I didn't want the knife.
You're getting it. I put that knife there!
I'm stuck under this, right?
Yeah, I believe so. It's slower, but it's also a lot safer.
Chicken.
Chicken.
I was thinking, like, should I stand here to... Nope. Oh. I broke the
You might
stairs.
be able to jump up there. Nope.
Okay. Oh,
No,
well.
Mega Man?
I don't like this. Yeah.
Oh, Red, actually, that reminds me of something. Do you want to know who the final boss of Yonoid 2 is, or do you want to play it for yourself?
Oh.
That's an answer.
Go ahead.
It's Hatsune Miku.
What?
Because of the Domino's Pizza featuring Hatsune Miku advert.
Hatsune Miku.
That was a surprise.
Fucking why?
You've seen that game. Is that a question you really have? Anyway, I'm thoroughly excited for when in Biggest Catch, or whatever it's called, Hatsune Miku's gonna show up. I guarantee it's gonna happen.
Women fear me, fish want me.
Hatsune Miku terrifies me.
Colonel, Hatsune Miku turns me on.
Why? Because she isn't real?
She's not real, Snake. Even better.
She's real to me.
Real women can't break your heart, Colonel. Or fictional women, fuck. My love for Miku is real. And that's all that matters. The fucking pumped fist, like, hell yeah, I got this. I'm a Simon Belmont.
Hell yeah, I got this. I'm Hatsune Miku.
I'm hot. Sorry, Ben. You're not my type.
Let's not break the stairs. Really? That's it? You miss out on some hearts, some money. Okay.
But what if it was Hatsune Miku?
Well, it wasn't. I don't like that part. There was the fucking end of the level too. Oh, okay. Two of them.
It's Frank.
Right.
Not. They got rid of Frank's friend, and now he has to make himself friends. You feel good about yourself? He just wanted friends.
You can fight them in it.
Stage 9!
Bitch. Damn.
Old skeleton!
Fucking floor collapsing on me.
So, look at the spooky ghosts, and welcome to the fucking treasury.
See, we have an idea for, like, a spooky ghost rising from the floor. That could be a cool aesthetic. There's also one for a treasury. Why not both at the same time?
Money kills. Those represent the souls of the damned, of how those who have pursued wealth are consistently not able to proceed happily into the afterlife.
Definitely the commentary they were going for.
I mean, that's what Jesus said, so I mean... Sorry,
Yeah,
Red,
but how many
you broke
Castlevania games did Jesus make?
He's responsible for all of them. Because he's responsible for humanity's salvation.
How many of the words in Castlevania were in the Bible?
Probably most of them.
Player and enemy are my favorite Bible verses.
I'm gonna fucking search through every edition of the Bible and find player and enemy in there. Enemy certainly is. And I would not be
Where's-
shocked if player is somewhere.
Where's Castlevania in it?
You find it. Wait a
There's
minute.
Dracula in the Bible. Yeah.
Ram Stroker.
I hardly know her.
Red's just like, I want to jump into the skeleton. I don't want to live.
Yeah,
Speak
we'll
of
die.
Speaking of not wanting to live. I know how this level works. I want to give it another shot.
You know, my favorite.
But Simon, your points!
I don't give a fuck.
Simon! What about the hard mode?
Don't give a fuck.
But Simon, there's a hard mode.
Don't give a fuck.
Oh! They do typically mark the floors that crack by, like, surrounding them. Yeah?
How do you know that one's a stupid bat? It could be a very smart bat for all you know.
They don't like it. Why didn't you
You're
go
a
upstairs? I was holding
stupid
up. Eh.
Tell me, Red.
What?
Every time the stairs have not accepted you on them, were you holding diagonally?
But I've managed to land on them while holding diagonally.
Or maybe you thought you were. I don't know. I feel like every time it hasn't worked, I was holding diagonal. Like, that's the one thing that I found in common, you know?
Maybe, but I'm just pretty sure I can do it.
I know. I still haven't figured out if that's the reason. It's just the only thing I can think of. Like, it works most of the time, and it's still a great feature, but, like...
But, you know, use a little bit of tweaking.
The solution is to play it with an analog stick.
No,
Why not?
don't wanna. Kill the bat first, and then I can go up here.
Wouldn't that make it easier to hit diagonally then?
Marginally?
King bats.
Like on accident?
On accident? That depends on how it's programmed, and... how they handle the stick regions. If they're properly scaled, it would actually be marginally easier to do it that way. Ha! So many fucking ghosts. Hey, Red, look up.
And you look up. Can't.
No, you can't do it unless you do it from the platform you fell from. You can't get those.
Why not?
Because you didn't jump up onto those rings from the platform. You just dropped down. You get one shot to get those.
What are we in then? Oh, that's actually worth it.
I want that! Red finding this level with 2 set pieces that you only have 1 shot to get through to get higher paths for goodies. Welcome to 9-2.
That hole.
The holes suck.
So is this gonna be a reoccurring thing in this level?
What, the upper pathways?
Yeah.
Level of get good. Hey, what's that up there, Red?
Your mom.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say ring. Red's like, nope, not worth it. Whatever the fuck's up with that coffin. Even though this is still 9-2, this was a checkpoint.
Yes. Enough with the suck.
The suck holes.
What the suck?
Unzips.
Now why would I go down the coffin?
Maybe there's a candle behind it, I don't
I'm not risking it.
know. Fucking jewel necklaces hanging from the ceiling, glowing. Hey, you got one up.
Yay.
This level gives you a lot of point bags. Which makes sense, but... You know, that means one-ups. You're actually more than halfway to another one-up, I think. level of infinite lives. Unless they don't give you a life for that? Or maybe they did and I didn't see it. Whatever. Gold whip skeleton.
No. Get out of here, man.
I have a whip! Wait, why? How did you...
You can't whip in all directions.
How did you do that?
I aimed.
We studied your kind for so long to learn how to use whips, and you did what? Also, bad.
This guy's a little more durable. Oh.
It's a gold bat.
Oh, wait.
This is the whip dangle on the bats.
Oh, stop.
Ooh.
Oh.
Get me out of here. You're at max lives for starting a level. You're just gonna start the next level with the appropriate life count. Oh god, stairs! Well, on to level A, Red.
You know, it's a good thing that staircase was there. Oh god, is that the clock tower?
Is that the what?
Ah. Oh. I will say, while I'm not, like, huge on the game soundtrack, this is a really good version of Bloody Tears. Ow.
That's a really good version of Killing
That's
Yourself.
what you fucking get.
You guessed on its soundtrack. Did you notice that they gave you a little preview of Bloody Tears before the level starts?
Yeah.
They do that with most, if not all, the levels, where they preview the level music as its transition music. At least in the castle, if not the whole game.
No one paid enough attention for previous levels.
They gave you a little snippet of Bloody Tears in the level transition.
Yeah.
You should notice that with the other levels, too.
Why can't I go Bloody Tears in the Clock Tower, the one game up to the point that didn't have one?
I find the gears in here tend to generally work better than 3. Tend.
Ugh.
The gears in 3 are more forgiving than this game, you know?
Yeah.
But, like, they feel kind of deceptive. Where it's hard to tell exactly what should allow you to stand and what doesn't. This one feels more natural to me, even if it's less forgiving than 3's.
Yeah, I think I need to stop thinking of them like threes, because it felt a little awkward.
I just don't remember to be fair, I played this game before 3, but I also never, like, played this and felt like the gear didn't make sense. I just treated it like a rotating platform.
Yeah, like,
In 3, you can stand on, like, the far edge of it when it's like, I should probably be sliding off of this, right?
well, it's like the actual, like, things sticking out.
Yeah, but they don't rotate very smoothly, and sometimes it feels weird.
Yeah.
Like, when I'm allowed to stand on them. Again, 3 does err on the side of forgiving, at least, you know?
I was hitting jump. Why didn't you jump?
He didn't jump because he didn't like your attitude.
Oh, fuck.
You keep telling him to kill himself, and he's like, wow. You don't like me living? Well, I'll make the times you do want me to live inconvenient for you. Asshole.
Well, be convenient, and I will want you to die.
Yeah, go up to somebody when you're threatening to murder them.
Why are you
like-
so inconvenient?
They also have the rotating cogs from the clock tower in 1. They, like, the first section had it with, like, the rotating platforms.
Yeah.
It definitely feels like, again, inheriting and learning from the design of 1 and 3 a lot, but I don't know. I'm talking so much in circles about how they do that in this game, but it's weird because it's both really familiar and really different.
What? Like,
I don't know why your jumps keep... It also looks like your head was, like, hitting a ceiling or something.
eh. Well, I think there was a
May-
ceiling, but
Like, maybe? But it just keeps looking like you keep going up and then going down faster than I would have expected. You know? Because, like, why did you jump short of the gear? The jump looked like it should have gone farther to the right than it did. I was actually playing this game on the SNES Classic when I beat it recently. I was also playing with basically a Super Nintendo controller. I find a lot of Super Nintendo games feel good with that controller.
I wonder why.
What? I don't know what either of you said, but I kind of had the feeling for a long time that old controllers didn't look as comfortable because I didn't understand how you were supposed to hold them without grips on them. After learning how you hold a Super Nintendo controller, it's actually surprisingly comfortable.
Yeah.
And then, like, playing Super Nintendo games with it, the buttons just feel really natural in terms of, like, game control layout and everything. I've used old consoles where oh my god, he's used the knife. I've used old controllers that felt not to my preference in a few ways. Even though games would have been designed for it at that time, I prefer using a newer one. One of those would be, frankly, the 3-button Genesis controller, because I find that controller really big. I also find that it's not a fun shape to hold. It doesn't really have grips, but it also is too fat to hold the way you would a Super Nintendo controller. So it kind of just find it awkward. I find the 6-button Genesis controller much more comfortable.
bitch.
Ass.
You just gonna throw gear at me like that?
Just listen to Bloody Tears and tell the gear to fuck off.
Trying to kill the bone dragon, bitch.
Here's someone cracking their knuckles.
That's me.
It's a loud fucking crack.
Yeah, I guess it was, because it wasn't even that close to my mic.
It was louder than you're speaking now.
Which is weird, because it wasn't even that close to my mic.
So now you're making me crack my knuckles. Great.
Not my fault.
My hands will always crack. They don't stop. So if I get into this habit of I need to crack my knuckles, it will go forever. It doesn't stop.
I need to wait a while after cracking mine before I can crack them again.
Mine literally just do it for, like, infinity. It's something alright.
Yeah, no, I have to... I've got a cooldown.
I can just sit here and keep cracking them. I don't know why I crack so much with my bones. Not just my knuckles, but especially those.
Oh.
It's the skeletons telling me to join the bone crew. Let the skeleton inside you out. Give it freedom.
Did you know that inside you was a skeleton?
Soon it'll be outside you.
Okay then, I didn't know that.
Guess
was
you
a
killed
thing.
yourself by going inside the wall.
Yeah.
I've never gone intentionally inside the wall when there wasn't a platform to land on, so I never saw that.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing.
Red going here like, oh, do I have to jump? Okay.
Just give me the longer whip.
That one? Axe armor and Medusa heads, except in a vertical chamber with stairs.
Yeah, this might have been a
it's
challenging
for.
section in in 1 or 3.
But it's 4.
Here.
Like, imagine me telling you, you're gonna play a Castlevania game where that happens before playing 4 and without the context that it's 4.
Oh god, that sounds like him. Even without, accounting for the directional with the X numbers are just easier.
Good. I think the biggest thing for the axe armors is the increase in screen set, the increase in sprite size relative to the screen.
They also, just have less health.
I haven't been counting the exact, health points for them, but, in Castlevania 1, it's harder to get within whip reach of them. You know?
Yeah.
In this game, there's not a lot of places they can go that's outside of your whip reach.
Yeah. Okay.
Red's like, I'm gonna shit myself. I need new pants.
It's a good thing I'm not wearing it.
Wait a minute.
Simon
Ben
doesn't
wants to know
wear
your
pants.
location.
Simon shitting himself in front of the enemy, picks up the shit and throws it at them. Sub-weapon pinch.
The sub-weapon is shit.
Yeah, that's the point. You're gonna get infected and die in 3 months.
Netflix where it's like, cover your sword in salt and shit.
Yeah, no, that is something people did, though.
Cover yourself and shit.
No, the sword, but, the goal is to cover someone else and shit.
It's to get shit in their blood.
Now, Red, don't kill yourself.
Oh.
Instead, progress to the next area.
What if there's something in the wall?
the thing in there is death. Also, not that chicken.
Now, this is the mummy.
On the clock tower. Wait, what?
Why is a mummy on the clock tower?
Fucking clock hands.
That didn't work.
The whip dangle doesn't do a lot of damage. It's better for defense than offense. Especially against something with a lot of health.
Okay then. Doesn't seem like there's a whole lot I can do to, like, avoid his attacks.
He can't come on to a platform he's not on. Generally, I believe. I don't think he jumps. Also, hello, Ikeji. That said, you can defend yourself, obviously, with Spinny Whip. If you can...
But they don't seem to be hitting it.
I don't know why the fuck that wasn't hitting it, but okay. I find this to be the easiest position to hit him. Maybe they only have a hitbox in the middle of the strand.
God damn it.
Oh, that was a play. I don't know if doing the diagonal whip is your best play there.
Well, I can't hit him otherwise unless I'm doing the dangly whip, which barely does any damage.
Better than killing yourself.
God damn it. Well, I don't think I'm making it this.
Don't have that attitude, you'll have to play the level over again. You have a better chance of succeeding if you believe in yourself.
Like, what was I supposed to do there?
Not jump into the fucking bandage, you
Well, then I
idiot.
can't.
How you doing, Ikeji?
I'm doing okay. I'm a little stressed out about what I have going on this week, but not too shabby.
That's alright. Red's in the last 3 levels, so to speak, of Super Castlevania 4.
That's good.
Red is legally obligated to make a full review of the game in the 5 minutes after he finishes the game.
No, you.
No, you.
No, you.
No, you.
No, you.
Tick-tock, Red, you're on the clock tower.
Fuck clock tower.
I wouldn't. Simon Belmont had a dick, and then there was the clock tower's gears.
Why didn't you land on
And
it?
there it went.
Oh.
That one gear, you seem to have a lot of trouble with jumping to it. Red's in the last few levels of the game where they love to use remixed Castlevania music. Red sits here listening to Bloody Tears like, it's been so long and it's not swapped to nighttime to play Monster Dance.
But horrible night. Curse.
Imagine
You know, I hate to
Simon's
say
Quest.
it, but I have to get something off my chest.
Hmm.
I keep having like these like ruts where I'm like, do I want to change my like career? I'm having enough fun like today.
You want to change your what?
My career.
Oh, okay.
Just like your whole thing, just like, fuck all that.
My
work,
whole
just
career.
reset everything.
Well, you're taking teaching experience. How does it make you feel about that?
My teaching experience?
Yeah, because you're sitting in classrooms now, right?
Oh no, I'm not just sitting in classrooms. I'm teaching in classrooms.
Yeah. How's it making you feel about it? That's certainly a trial for you. See how you feel.
It is, especially because that's what I'll be doing 24/7 next semester. So, 2 days a week, every week since the semester started so far, and I'd say I like it. I think.
Is there something about it that's bothering you?
Something is bothering me about it, but I don't. I'm sorry, I don't mean to derail the
Yeah,
Castlevania
it's okay.
stream.
Look, as long as you're comfortable talking about it, I will talk
No,
about
the
it.
viewers can hear it. I just don't know if they'll care. But yes, I'm okay with talking. It's just, yeah, I don't know. Something.
I think the more useful question for you is to figure out what's bothering you before asking if you want to change careers, because I think the feeling of, is this what I want to do, derives from something being off.
Something has to be off.
Whether it's
Trying to figure out what it
something
is.
about the job needs to be changed, how you handle it, or it is something about the career, but knowing why it's something about the career will help you understand what you do want to do. Or just how to fix it if it's not that in particular, you know?
You're right. Well, one thing worth noting is, like, am I doing well? I think the answer is yes. I am doing well. I do enjoy it, but there's something off.
Not enough Sonic Lost World.
Yeah, I need a major in Sonic Lost World, specifically Sonic Lost
Teach
World.
children introductory, music education using video game music that you really give a shit about, or just the James Bond theme.
Well, I can do all of those things
I know.
in actual pedagogy, and that's cool. But yeah. But anyway, no, it's just I don't know.
First day you teach them hot cross buns. Second day they're playing fucking Wonderworld on the school stage. Smack.
Fuck it.
Megalovania's required reading.
Well, they're already
I-
going to play it,
Oh, there we
whether
go,
I
now
required or not. That's the funny thing, is that they're already going to learn it anyway.
You're gonna
You know,
become a music
kid.
teacher after Deltarune is finished, and whatever the fuck that is popular.
Yeah,
about that
whatever
will be
Toby
your
writes in that,
whole-
I'm going to
Yeah,
hear it in my
yeah.
classroom. That's all I know.
The whole music career just Deltarune music.
Yeah.
I mean,
And then
big
it's like,
shots.
I
I'd be like,
remember when
Megalovania, that's
Undertale
so
came
old.
out.
This is the new one.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you're sitting over there. It's like, hey guys, do you remember?
Undertale
It's like,
came
what
out
the
when I
fuck
was
are
a
you
young
talking about?
teen. God, you're old.
Wow, Mr. Blank, you're really old. My thanks.
Wow,
You're-
Mr. IKG.
You-
Everyone
really-
knows you not through your teaching career, but through your YouTube.
Deltarune is what
I
everyone's
love you
talking
guys.
about now. Get with the times.
Also, I like Box's comment. We should all take an 8-week course on Sonic Lost World. I could do as an instructor. I'll make that class curriculum right now. Let's do it.
A music class where you
Week 1,
exclusively
Dev
use Sonic
History.
Lost World
Week
OST to teach
2.
people.
Weeks 2 to 3, story. Weeks 4 and 5, gameplay. Week 6, art presentation. Week 7, music. Week 8, final exam review. Done. Now I just gotta write the details of the curriculum.
Right. But like, was there something else that was
Extra
like,
credit
fun?
assignment, DLC analysis.
But like, was there something else that was like drawing your attention or anything in these thoughts, or?
Well, that's a good question, Colin. So there's a few things. One, trying to figure out what's wrong. 2, probably, and this maybe is the answer, I don't know, is that I feel like I'm burning out of music ed in general, despite not loving it any less. but like I've been doing this since 2019, and the whole pandemic happened, and I don't know. And
So-
then like I'm really running out of steam, and I feel like
Well,
I kind of want the next chapter of my life to start.
what
And
kind of
Well,
life
yeah.
do you enjoy having, you know? And
Yeah.
something, you know, everybody works differently. But,
Mhm.
sorry, I don't want to cut you off, Colin.
I was trying to say something there. It's that to point out that burnout sort of comes and goes. It's not something that hangs around forever, right? So
Yeah,
just
I know.
keep that in mind as you're thinking about things, right? So don't like just cut and run.
I mean, I burn out much harder than I have now, and I eventually got back up and kept going several times, especially junior year. So
Yeah, 'cause, like I'm not
that's
saying
true.
don't consider other things that might broaden your horizons or be of interest to you. I'm just saying
here's the
that
thing:
it's
Don't treat burnout
burnout.
as the reason. I understand that.
I don't think it is the reason. It's just something that now, you know, I had this conversation. So one of the nice things being at the school I'm at is that I get to talk to a lot of the teachers there, like during downtime. And one of the teachers, this really nice older lady who's been teaching her for years and years, and she's really into writing. So I've had conversations with her. So believe it or not, she was a writer for a TV show before she became a teacher. Like for real, like she was in the writer's room, and she just
Was it a
you know,
good one?
we just I didn't hear that. I mean, it was probably good from what she described. And they're like, oh, you know, I have such a passion for reading like comedy, drama, and action films, and mysteries, and all that stuff. And then, you know, something that we like talk about. You should totally pursue this. And then I kind of told her that I had like this dream, like maybe I'll teach for like 5-10 years, but I want to like get into filmmaking, or at least want to write stories or something. And the other day I ran into her again, and she was like, yeah, like, well, don't give up on that. Like, you shouldn't just ignore that. And I was just like,
Ooh.
I mean, it sounds so obvious, but then when she said that, it had a big effect on me, because I was like, well, yeah, why don't I just try? And I think that is another factor, is that maybe I'm just not as passionate about music yet as I am about other things that I just wasn't as passionate about when I started in 2019, or wasn't willing to take a risk on back then. But then part of me always comes back to this thing of like, you worked in this really hard degree, you sacrificed so much for this, and like you can't quit at the 11th hour, like that, just to get
It
like
might be a good idea to finish your
what.
degree.
Well, here's the thing: I could, or I could not. So here's the thing, right? Option one is I finish the music education degree and do everything that I thought I would, and just finish it. The second option is that I actually I drop the degree and I graduate. I could basically graduate now with a Bachelor of Arts in Music degree. Now, a lot of people actually do that. A lot of people who, for whatever reason, either it's too much, it's too stressful, or
You're in a cycle,
something
Red.
compatible.
Sorry.
A lot of
Interrupt.
people like drop dead and just the BA, usually because it's just too much, you know. Now, the problem is BA in music. I mean, you can get teaching jobs with just a BA in music, but it doesn't make you as competitive. Some with a Bachelor of Arts and Sciences music education, obviously. So while it's not like a useless degree, it is less useful.
I have a question for
Ask.
you then. Like, do you feel more like you're
So
just
wait, hold on. Let me
tired?
finish my thing
Sorry.
real quick, and then I'll. So like option one, right? I kind of explain that. So like option one, get the music ed degree as planned. Finish the whole thing. Finish it all. Finish in May. Graduate. Got it. B, take the BA in music, since I did all that work, and then go to school for something else.
Like, do you feel overwhelmed or like you're tired of doing it? Like which is
You
it?
know
Like,
what?
burnout is usually a very tired kind of feeling, isn't it? Like you're not quite sure you feel like doing it right now.
You know what the
And-
weird thing
but,
is,
like,
Colin?
overwhelmed is different.
I've
right?
been so overwhelmed and overworked a majority of these last 3 years in this degree program, which I did not make a secret, even though I have been doing really well. Like, I still have a great GPA. I still got heavily involved. I still had a lot of fun. But, like, I was very overwhelmed. You know what, though? This semester, I don't feel overwhelmed at all. I don't even feel stressed most of the time.
Well, maybe
So you know
that's-
what that tells me?
it-
Just tired of it. I'm just sick of it. I'm just
well,
tired.
it
I have
could
no
also be,
motivation.
It sounds a bit more like you're not being challenged at all this year.
Oh,
Right?
I wouldn't
like
say
it was all
that.
challenge work and hard
Well,
effort and the rewards that come from all that, right? And then you say it's easy this year. Well,
I wouldn't say that because, while I said I'm doing well, there's a lot of ways I do need to and will improve on regarding my student teaching feedback, regarding my classes, like that.
You
It's,
could
it's
be
more
on
of this lack
autopilot
of.
without the work being, with the work still being challenging.
I don't really feel like I'm on autopilot, though. I feel like I'm just not interested.
So, I wanted to say earlier, speaking personally, and
Like, it sounds
everybody's
so
different.
immature, but it's almost comes from a place of, like, I don't feel like it. But I've never said that or felt that this way before.
Well,
I just
being
don't
honest with
feel
yourself
like
is important. That's the first thing. But speaking personally, not everybody's the same. But I know when I was in high school, I had a really strong affinity for math and physics, a lot of sciences. I really liked them too. It wasn't just like I was good at it, but I didn't care for them. I liked those fields. By all accounts, going into those fields would, on paper, sound like something I should enjoy. I like these fields, I'm good at it, why not? I have no interest in working in those fields.
Mhm.
You know, I don't want to work in physics. I don't want to work in like an engineering position. What I found out for myself somewhat early on is that I have a very strong creative drive. And those aren't things that satisfy me there. And that's kind of important for me to feel fulfilled in my work.
Yeah.
Is
There's
I
nothing
want
creative about
that.
teaching. It's the funny thing is that you think
And-
it's creative. It is creative, but only after you've mastered the very like
That's also
hard
why I do think I'd
craft.
enjoy teaching, but not at like an elementary level, probably not even at a high school level, although some high schools might be better than others. But I would want to be a professor, because I would want total freedom for what I would do.
I mean, I've thought about that too. Like, I would also enjoy teaching like at a university.
I don't want to teach, but
I think I would
teaching is
enjoy teaching
one of
college.
the things I'd enjoy more, but particularly as a professor, because just following like a systemic, guideline of how to. It might be a good idea to swing less wildly, Red. There, because you keep swinging right into the sword.
Well, sometimes he's close and I can't avoid him.
Maybe if you just stay a little more in place,
But then I'd need to swing in order to reach
build
the
up
ledge.
momentum after he swings his sword.
But then I'm on my way back. Like,
Fucking.
I'm just kind of bummed because
you
I just
can't-
don't feel like I have
whatever.
like passion for music education anymore.
No,
Like, it's almost been like beaten out of me. It's not even my fault.
why
I
did you
just-
have an
I'm
interest in
done.
music education?
Well, I had a strong interest in it for years, before and during my college career, and it came from a desire to teach people about art that I care about that can have a positive impact on them, which is definitely still true, and I definitely still advocate and believe in that through music education. But I've grown very annoyed and tired of the school education system, especially in the United States. And I'll tell you, I loved school. I loved school. I was that student who got up every day throughout elementary, even the worst parts of middle school. I still wanted to go. And high school. I told you I had a very positive high school experience. Went to a great high school. I was very privileged. Like, I woke up every day and I loved school. I loved classes. I loved doing well in school. I was that kid. So I understand everyone has their opinions on school, right? Everyone has their opinions on the education system. But take it from me as someone who like loved school. Didn't think it was perfect. I wasn't an idiot. I wasn't oblivious. But I genuinely loved it. But seeing it so close to the inside, you have to understand, I hear all the tea. I know all the stuff. I probably shouldn't even know a student teacher. And I know where it's happening. I know I just
My mother worked in my middle school. I heard a lot.
Yeah, I'm sure you have. It beats it out of me. And I know this has happened to thousands of teachers, especially with the pandemic. But I think that's a part of it too, is that I just hate the system I'd be sitting in. And I feel like it's impeding on my own ability to actually do what I wanted to do with it. Now, that would be better at a collegiate position, and I would just like working with college students more anyway. But do you know what you have to do to get there? Then you have to be god tier at your job, and then you have to get hired after having several jobs.
Okay,
and then you gotta
okay.
go through more school and pay more money.
I gotta say one thing to you, IKG. Do not get the
Yeah.
impression that you need to be good at your job to become a university level professor. I have seen fucking plenty of absolutely unqualified, bumbling
Well,
fucking
it's
moron
worth-
professors.
Okay,
It is
I don't.
worth noting that
Yes,
you
I
have to
don't.
be qualified by what the school considers qualified.
Oh no, I understand
like
that, but what I'm
credentials.
saying is like qualification is like a very technical thing. You don't have to be actually
I-
qualified.
Yeah,
I
some people,
understand what
I mean,
you're saying.
some people's qualifications were mailed from India,
It's
so
also kind
know what I
of
mean?
harder to get
it's like,
qualified in a way that a school wants than to actually learn and be competent at your subject in a lot of
Yeah.
ways.
so
I know.
okay, so why did you want
Also, Friday,
to
keep in mind that
That's
I'm
why you
also
end up
very
with
hard on
conservatives in
myself,
academia,
so-
despite the fact that it's not that many.
We end up with what?
Okay, so
Video
IKG, I
game
want to ask you
studios?
that. Okay, so you wanted to teach because you wanted to educate people on this thing that you love, but what is it specifically about it that you love? Like the music and all that.
Okay, so look, I just like teaching in general. I always will like teaching, but that doesn't mean I have to be a teacher in a school, right?
Well,
like,
the
one thing
subject
I
you'd be
wanna do-
teaching, That's what I'm actually asking. What
Like,
is it about
even
the
if I-
subject
even
you'll
if-
be teaching?
Okay, I'll answer that, but I want to say, even if I don't pursue music education anymore, I still want to open a private cello studio. Like, I want to teach cello. Like, I just,
Daniel
I know I do.
Jaramillo.
But it's like,
Jaramillo? I don't know. Jaramillo,
Oh shit,
probably.
someone in chat.
Oh shit, this is getting serious. Oh damn.
hi, chat. Sorry. So,
That's fine.
to answer your question, Colin, what I wanted to do was I wanted to share my musicianship with students. I want to inspire students to enjoy music at a deeper level, to enjoy playing music, performing music, especially the string instrument family. I have all these great ideas of repertoire that's old and new and diverse, and I'd be a programming genius. I mean, seriously. But like, that's what it comes down to. It's coming together, making something really inspiring, just as I was inspired heavily by my string teachers into wanting to go into this in the first place. A lot of teachers were inspired by teachers. It's very like, it's a feedback loop like that. I'm definitely that example. So that's kind of the core part of it. Also because it is fun. It is something I enjoy. I like directing. I like conducting. I like I like analyzing. I like improving things. So you can see how that would apply, I'm sure, to that job. I think I'm good at it. I mean, it's a lot of hard work doing student teaching and the high expectations they set for you. But like, I'm working on it. I'm definitely developing. I'm already better than I was in August, and September. It's just.
Well,
That climate that I'm in, I'm starting to feel that climate is going to be so suffocating. That education system is just so suffocating.
So my real question is then, are you becoming a teacher or trying to become a teacher because you were inspired by another teacher to do it, or because you wanted to do it?
No, I wanted
Want
to
to do
become
it
a
because you're
teacher
inspired.
because I wanted to do it.
I was
In
actually
many ways, I
reading
still
my
want to
point
do it.
somewhere. I'd like to try to.
Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. Sorry, I just hadn't quite finished my thought. So you like teaching, and I personally get that quite a bit. I like the set piece thing. But it's what is it with the teaching? Like, for example, as far as I'm concerned, you do two things that could be somewhat considered to fall under the foil of art education, at least as you understand it, right now.
Sure.
And that's your student teaching, and that's also your YouTube channel. Both of those are resources in which you talk to people in a lens of, you know, almost informative about artistic design, right?
Sure.
But there are different measures of how you do that, and those two aren't the only ways of doing it even either. There's a lot of different ways to teach people art, right?
Yeah.
And how to handle
absolutely.
Like, you don't need to be a
Yeah.
part of a school system to teach people.
Well, that's the thing. Like, what?
That's
do
what I'm
you-
starting to
how do you
realize. Is maybe I don't
feel about
want to do
being
it this way.
in YouTube. How do you feel about being a teacher? What do you like about the? Yeah, you're fucked, Red.
But yeah, like, because it's like
What are your
you could
thoughts on?
finish this thing about, like, you could finish this thing about becoming a teacher, right? Finish your degree or whatever, and then teach not in the school system. Find another way to teach that's not
Well,
going
yeah,
to
there's
require you to
other
be in
things
a
like
suffocating
tutoring.
environment. Right? Tutoring and all sorts of other stuff, right?
I need a sustainable, well-paying job.
I know,
I know that.
I know.
That
I'm saying
highly depends.
that you're not done.
Look, as much as I
anything yet.
love the cello, like the idea of teaching private cello lessons, and I still will do that, that's nothing more than a side hustle, right? What's the main job? You know, it's not gonna be YouTube.
It's
lol.
time to work it out. It's time to work it out, but you know, it's.
Yeah, there's time to work it out. You're right, but I
But
just have to
I wouldn't
ask, like,
pass
am I,
up getting the
do I even
credentials
feel
for
like finishing what I've started? I mean, it would be kind of stupid to not, but at the same time, take the
Well,
BA
that was
and
another
just
thing I was going
go
to ask.
somewhere.
Is you mentioned how, you know, a BA in music is, you know, not going to go as far as a music education degree. But does a music education degree get you as far in wherever you need it as a BA in music? Like, could you use a music education degree to, say, get a job that isn't in music education but is music related that a BA would be just as good for? If not better than a BA.
Potentially.
Because
The only issue
if the
is
music
that
education degree, my
Yeah.
point being, if it's just better than the BA, then you could just finish it out anyway, whether or not you want to go into music education, and treat it as a music degree, you know?
I really should. Yeah.
Like, 'cause anything you
Yeah,
do
I mean,
outside
that's
of the
just
system
the
will
smart answer.
still benefit from having those credentials, even if you're not in the school.
Then I have to figure out how to
So-
motivate myself to get to that point. But yeah,
It's less than a year. You know, you're from what it sounds like, you're almost there.
Yeah, and finishing it
it's
will give you
crazy.
time to work out other
I
things.
almost
right?
forget how much work I put into all of this since 2019.
That's the thing. If you
It's
were
actually
farther away
insane
from
if you chart it out. Like,
Yeah.
I'm so close to the
Well,
end.
if it was like
Well,
your
that's what I'm
first or
saying. If you
second
were
year,
farther
then
from the end, I'd be
it's like-
more saying, yeah, it's worth experimenting and going other. You're really close, and you
yeah,
you
you're
sound like you really want to go into music one way or another, and this degree would at least help you with that. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
It-
whether or not you decide to go into the music education system, you could still get the degree, and it would still be useful to you.
good for a
It
resume.
definitely would be. It would definitely be useful to me no matter what. I know,
Yeah.
I just...
And just because you
kinda-
get the degree doesn't mean you have to go on that career.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
you
that's
can-
true, but then, like, what do I do?
Well,
I wanna-
that's the thing.
I want to be a
Well, you
writer
come
or a
to the-
filmmaker.
You see, you've come to a conclusion that there's something else that you want, and that's sort of the first step in figuring out what it is. Because like you're never going to figure out what something else is unless you
Right.
actually decide that there's something else.
It's
Also,
crazy to
like
me that
right?
it's crazy to me that this is just happening, and I'm already near the end of this
I don't like
entire
that
chapter of
section.
my life. Like,
Yeah.
it's so weird. Like, I guess I should be thankful that at least I am learning more about myself and discovering things I'm passionate about. Because
I mean, you're
couldn't
discovering it
even-
before you go years into a job and realize you don't care about it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it always could have been later. It just feels like, why now? Why couldn't I have figured this out sooner? I don't know.
Shit
Everybody
happens as
feels
it
like that.
happens. It's
Everybody does,
inevitable.
especially.
Yeah.
I think those thoughts often will even
Why
come
did I
up when you're near the
graduate
end.
from both high school and college before I decided to actually look into, man, do I have mental health problems that I should be, like, medicated for?
Yeah, like,
I
but,
will
like,
say,
also-
however,
I delayed mine too.
the one option that you aren't considering IKG is continuing the music education thing until you get really, really, really depressed about it, and then start trying to write the next great American novel, and then be a bad father to someone, and then they write a book about that.
You're right,
Okay.
Friday. I haven't considered that.
That's a
I was
life
going to
of
make
that.
an actual serious point, but now I've forgotten what it is. Fuck's sakes.
I have another
Okay.
serious point that I haven't forgotten.
Go ahead.
You mentioned IKG, you know, being a tutor is at best a side hustle, but I'd like to point out, you also seem
A
to have
private cello teacher.
well,
Yay.
yeah, but
Let me finish.
my point being, you also seem to have a strong creative drive of wanting to make things alongside.
Yeah, it'd be
education,
nice
things
if I
like,
could and
want to
monetize it
write
somehow.
things.
Yes. Yeah, that'd be nice. That
If
would be
you
nice.
wrote things or made things, an artistic focused career, and also taught cello, wouldn't you be doing both?
That would make me so happy. I just don't know how to do that.
Well, if you focus a career on learning to make something, like make an art piece, and also teach cello on the side to make money, then you're doing both, and both are making money. In terms of how to do that, are you interested in doing art independently? Then what you could do is work a job, something that just makes you money, or maybe even get that cello lessons out there if you can, which would be even nicer, and use that to fund yourself while you're getting an artistic career off the ground. Right?
Possibly. Yeah. I
That can
don't know
fund you
how
more
to
when
like.
it gets there.
The thing is that I'm happy to have the cello studio always be like a, you know, kind of like a side hustle, like money just comes in as I get it kind of thing. And I'm perfectly happy with that because that's not going to be my main career. But I do like, the thing is, and I do like the idea of my main job is like stable. Like I could never be the type, just like psychologically, lifestyle. I don't like commission. Like I'm not going to like do that.
That's
Whatever I get, I
something
need it to be like,
else I wanted to ask. How do you
Sure.
feel? Because none of this factors in the future of you settling down with a partner either. You seem to have a strong desire to work in education and artistically, but you don't like the school system, and you don't like the artistic companies behind there. You have independent vision, you know? There's a bit of a catch-22 with that. Where you don't get stability while also having the freedoms you're looking for. But how do you feel if, say, your partner was stable? That was something they're comfortable with, and you are doing something more inventive or risky. Does that make you feel
Well-
comfortable? And obviously you don't just pick a partner based on do they have a stable income so you don't have to, obviously. But if
I
that's a
have
system,
stable income, so
Like,
you
that
don't
you
have
may
to.
not be alone in this is more the
But-
point I think he's getting at.
you know, like, it's worth considering. The situation can be more complicated than everything resting on your shoulders.
Look, I haven't thought of that. Yeah. I mean, that would
And it's
sounds
also,
too good to be true, but I mean,
it's
that
also worth considering other details too. Like, again, what matters more to you? The career that checks all of the boxes of not having that structure you don't like and giving you the freedoms you want, or the stability? And what compromise are you looking for between them? Because if you feel like one isn't achieving it, then you're gonna have to find a balance that gets there, you know?
Yeah. Well, you know, all my life the answer would be stability. You know, I was born into a very type A personality, and I've made it more, as I've grown as a person and gotten older, I've made that more nuanced, but, I mean, the answer would have always been just, I want stability because it's comfortable and reliable. But, I mean, I may even have to realize that maybe the creative side
It's hard to have
maybe
high
does
ambitions
trump
while being stable.
that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
but, like,
stability
I
is
just,
often
like-
boring. There's no way, and creativity doesn't like mix well with boring. know
You
what I
can
mean?
have
guess
stable and
as I get
creative.
older, I learn more
Yeah,
and more
There
how
are
much
various
of it.
degrees of compromise. It's just you have to figure out what works for you.
As I get older, I realize more and more how creatively driven I actually am, despite also being very linear in a lot of ways. I'm a weird person, guys.
You're talking to weirdos.
Figured
Don't
out.
worry.
But
So
I'm like
by the way, Red,
everything all at once. It's very weird.
checkpoint here, even though it's not the end of the level.
But yeah, I don't know. The older I get, the more I want to tap into the creative side. I'd love to be
Obviously,
able to
you don't have to figure
monetize
out the
that.
answer instantly. It's just it
Creativity.
sounds like you've at least tapped on something about it that's bothering you.
Yeah. I do
Yeah.
worry though that if you were to stop now, you would regret it later.
Well, no, I think you should finish the degree at least, and that would always give you the opportunity to go down traditional music education down the line anyway.
Yeah, that's true. I have to
It's-
finish when I
The
started.
degree gives you options,
Yeah.
but you don't have to
No.
commit to what it says on that paper. The only thing you have to commit to is paying for the paper. But beyond that, you know, like, doesn't mean anything else.
I feel like I should have gone to film school this whole time.
Maybe. But again,
If only I would have
something-
known.
Something worth noting is that college isn't useful for education as much as college is useful for the paper they give you. You can educate yourself many ways that are far cheaper than college to a comparable level of quality. The difference
Mhm.
is that people are not going to hire you for it because you don't have the slip of paper.
It
Yeah.
also does help in terms of accessibility to certain resources and networking.
Yeah,
but
yeah, no, there are pros to college, but my point is if you want to learn a skill, you don't have to, like, go to college for it.
And there are, as we
I
said,
guess
there are
you're
plenty
right.
of people that are qualified and certified at their jobs that are absolute shit.
Yeah, I know.
He's not calling
I
you
don't
shit.
want to be one of them though.
Just because you didn't go to film school doesn't mean you can't learn about film and direct a movie.
That's also true.
That's
You don't
true.
need to go to film school to do that.
That's true because I definitely can't go
never
back to
do
school after this for money reasons and otherwise. I can't. So good, but you're right. I know. It's just, how do you even like get into something like that? I don't really know
Film?
I mean,
anything about that. I'm just so curious enough to try.
sure,
I
but
just
it's
don't
worth
know
noting
how.
that I'm doing a lot of things that have nothing to do with having been educated to do it. Hell, the things that I got educated to do were things I've done for work before I started going to college.
IKG, I'm learning to become a digital artist. I've never gone to school for digital art.
Yeah, but you're good at it.
Only because I've been practicing
Because you
for
can
years.
get
I was about to say,
money
he
at
was
it.
shit at it at one point. You'll be shit
But
at
you know
everything.
how
else.
to do it. Like,
What that is,
how to
that's
do these
evidence that you
things.
don't need to go to college to learn how to do things like that.
I know, but even then, like, what I'm looking at isn't even a stable job anyway. So it's like,
Sure. Well, again, that's the core
unless I'm
question you're gonna need to
hired
ask
as a
yourself, where's the
writer
line?
on contract, maybe, then I'm okay.
And
I
of
don't
course,
know.
the thing about getting hired on contract is I mean, I'm not an
Limitations
expert.
and-
There's different
yeah.
processes of getting people to convince you on being hired, where they want a credibility of one kind or another. And the two ways to get a credibility in almost any field is either education or job experience. Job experience tends to be preferred, but education is the best way to get your foot in the door as a newcomer. That said,
Right.
you can't just pay to go to college for everything, so that leaves job experience. And it's hard to get that
I need
when
to
they will hire
convince
you
somebody that I'm
unless you're
worth
doing
trying.
it independently. Right?
Yeah, that's true.
It is worth saying, at least when it comes to stuff like writing, more so the writing itself as well as the networking connections you have are more so the things that you're going to be relying on
Networking. You have good networking
rather than
skills.
qualifications. Because like
That is
you,
definitely
if you
true.
okay, you might have a degree or whatever in writing, but if you don't know anyone and you suck ass at writing, you're not going to get any jobs off that, right?
Well, that's the thing. I have
You
a
can be good at
billion
writing and not
connections.
know anyone and still never get any job offers and you don't have those.
So
I have a
talk to
billion-
people.
Well, it's more the fact that the
Connections in music.
qualification is probably the least important part of that equation.
I
Well, yeah,
know.
no,
I have a
the-
lot of
the college
connections in the music
qualification
world and
helps,
the
but it's
music ed
not-
world, but I have no connections in any of those fields because I've never even
So
thought.
you think?
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
you have a lot of connections and also networking skills you've developed. You can contact people and figure that out. That's now. It's good to figure out what you want to do and what you're planning towards.
Yeah.
Honest, I also have more faith in you to be more organized and forward with a plan and committed to it than I am. But, like, you know, it's at some point the question becomes, do I want this thing and am I willing to take the risk for that? What would I be happier with? What risks do I want to take to achieve what dreams? What jobs? And some people feel like maybe I'd love to take that risk-taking job, but the risk is so stressful to them they literally can't be happy because they don't have the chance to breathe, you know? And some people are like that. I've learned for myself, I don't think that's how I work, where, I mean, stability's great, but I want this freedom.
Sorry, I hope I'm not interrupting. But I'm kind of going through, well, when it comes to the stability thing, that's actually kind of what I've been shooting for a whole lot, at least recently. That's the thing I've been wanting most in my life. And I've also kind of been in that rut where I kind of feel like I just want to give up.
I also don't think people should focus so hard on stability that
Wait.
they forget to be happy.
Also, sorry, I just gotta mention
My
this.
biggest issue right now.
IKG, when it comes to having no experience regards to filmmaking or no networking, it's not a big thing, and it might not necessarily be what you're thinking about. But the fact that you're associated with Team Turnabout, that's filmmaking. It might not be traditional filmmaking, but it is filmmaking.
That was actually something else I was going to bring up. Every artistic field, one of the biggest things you can do to prove yourself that doesn't have to do with a formal institute is a portfolio. And some arts are easier to provide portfolios for than others, although film is some of the harder ones. But you also do have Team Turnabout experience, especially if you want to put writing.
That's true. Also, leadership. I mean, I run the whole thing.
Like,
I mean, and you didn't
have-
It's
start
a,
just
it's a
running it.
well-oiled machine.
You moved
have
up
selling points.
to leading it, right? You know. It wasn't...
So
And the thing is, if you don't have a selling point you think you should have somewhere, you can always start a project,
start doing it. Yeah.
and then
Well-
you're just doing it.
I mean, but is like Team Turnabout really impressive to people? I don't know.
It
Like,
doesn't
more
matter if
than
it's
most
necessarily
people.
impressive. It's the fact that you have something. The fact
do
you've
they
worked on it
understand? Will
for
they
an extended
understand
period.
it? It's such a specific thing.
No,
I
no,
don't
no, I get you,
know.
I get you.
And you organize people and you lead them. Like you're not just some guy in the back room. You're at the head of
Or like,
what you're doing.
like,
You know.
can I put like the Lost World video in a portfolio? Like, I don't even know. Like, what do they want to see? Like, I don't know what.
When it comes specifically to Team Turnabout, you have a semi-long, I don't know how long running it is. I'm going to say long running. 'cause
5
it's-
year plus.
Exactly. So you have a 5-year-long ongoing narrative serial storytelling thing that you've been working on with a team.
But it's
You
based on
serve
an
as
existing
both the
IP.
team director and a big part of the writing process.
Do you know
yeah.
what that fucking means?
What does that mean?
It means that you have like an insane amount of experience compared to a quote-unquote newcomer.
Stop! Don't.
You
No.
Okay,
Compared
I will-
to a
I would
newcomer,
not
compared to a newcomer,
normal.
genuinely, you have an insane amount of experience. Like this isn't
Don't try
something
and
you
tell
haven't
me.
dabbled. This isn't something that you've like dabbled in. This isn't like you've pulled out a camera a few times and stitched this all
done
together in
this
Premiere.
before. You have been doing it for 5 years.
5
I
years.
Don't tell me that my work on Team Turnout can somehow translate into something
It,
good.
but it
Only.
does.
Yeah, it can.
It's-
Okay,
That's
I'm gonna
how
tell you a
that
little
works.
story. A little story about a friend of mine who for a little while. He worked at IBM. Okay, he got promoted because he knew how to use PowerPoint. Okay, don't undersell the value of what you're doing.
Okay.
Some things.
The average IQ is 100. That implies something about 50% of the population. Remember that.
Yeah,
I guess I never really thought because I'm so used to Team
You are an
Turnabout, I
exceptional person. You literally are. And you have a lot of marketable skills.
skills that a lot of
Into a
people just
marketable
don't
plushie.
have. It's skills that a lot of people don't have, and a lot of people who think they have it don't. Right? You have
Look,
legitimate
I don't
proof that you
call
do.
myself an amateur in digital art. I've been doing it since I was 16.
That's great.
I am at the
Well,
and
good.
You have been
after-
doing Team Turnabout since you were a similar age.
But it's like it's not like it's an
It's
existing
not
IP.
I
you know,
made ads
okay,
that
okay.
took me less than an hour to make in Photoshop for small businesses.
Look, guys, it's not that I don't value what I've done on Team Turnabout. I do. I'm proud of it. It's that I don't have the confidence to believe
Sorry,
that
what Red did was
anybody
just
else
hilarious.
is like an actual
Well,
professional would look
they-
at that and be like, "Wow,
it
this
will-
is great."
Okay, well, IKG, you will always have to tailor your resumes and portfolios to the people who are going to be hiring you. However,
That's
if
true.
people are looking
Yeah.
for someone who has qualities of a
Writing or
leader
leadership.
and organizing, that's where you would include that sort of thing, right?
I guess
And
you're right.
anybody who's looking for that either will see that, yeah, that is a clear example of that. And if there's somebody who has experience in it themselves, they can recognize what it looks like when somebody has to work at those things.
Yeah,
True.
it's not. It wouldn't be the only thing on your resume either.
And the other thing
Yeah.
is, if you get into an interview, you can also talk to them.
Well, that would be. I can always
About-
explain it. I can definitely explain it. I just
And
yeah,
you have a
okay.
better resume than most people.
Yep, and honestly, if they're
What do you
looking
mean
for someone
most
who
people?
doesn't, if
What do you think
It-
most people are walking into with a resume?
they flipped workers
a
at McDonald's
degree?
and went to school, maybe.
No,
How
I'm
many
talking about like getting
I can-
hired at like a film studio.
Like,
I don't know. They have a
I'm not
degree,
saying
maybe
you're
some
going
short
to be hired
films.
to direct the next multi-million-dollar Marvel film or some shit.
Well, I'm not saying I need
understand
to
that.
either.
But into the film industry at all? What the hell? No.
Like these days, you don't.
I've
need
never
much
made a
of an
short
IMDb page, to be perfectly
And I
honest.
know what you're saying.
Cool.
Just start. Well, maybe I will, but like I still have one yet.
First of all, you
Like,
can't just make a short film.
Okay,
But even
that's
then,
true.
the
I should.
experience you have literally still counts.
I guess it's the start. I don't think they're going to be impressed. They're not going to hire me.
Let's
Depending
say
on what you're applying for, yeah, you could be one of the most qualified people in the room.
I mean, I don't need to be a cinematographer. I need to study that more. But like, what if I was a writer? That would probably be the first thing I'd go for. I guess that is a start. That is something I could show.
and
Okay.
let's face it, having completed a course in school of any sort really is kind of a selling point for that sort of thing. Especially if it's like teaching related. It's like, well, clearly you have some
Also,
understanding of things. that are
Can just
maybe above
sell your
yours.
music education, which is also useful for those backgrounds.
Yeah, because even if it's a
True.
side thing, it's a good resume thing.
This
right?
person has a good history of leadership, writing, music education, and also has at least some experience in related fields to video production, given they've worked on video production themselves and led a fan series that is also video production and directed people in those fields. So
Wow.
that's a lot of coverage.
Maybe
Like
you
that.
don't realize how much you have
Nice.
going for you. Maybe it's a big part of your
Wow.
problem right now.
I didn't really realize that. Like, I guess those things kind of count. You know,
They
like.
do count. Look,
Well, I
I'm
don't
not
know, I
saying
just-
that you have more experience with film than some of the fucking biggest directors in history, but so?
Surely to God, you're better than than a ton of the people on IMDb. Like you know what's on there. You know what's on there.
I don't know.
Honestly,
Worst-
IKG
and
might
what's the
actually have
worst they do?
someone already put some of his stuff on IMDb
And-
because you
and,
can
you
just
know-
add stuff to IMDb.
Well, that's true, but like IKG, you're not gonna win every interview you go to. It's never like that, really.
But
I mean,
again,
there
what's
are a
the
few
worst they
people who
can
I'm
do?
sure have done
Say
it.
no.
Like
They say no. Congratulations. If you didn't do it at all, that's
you're off
also
to
a
another
no.
interview. Yeah, they say no, you're off to another interview. It's like, you know.
I think he was somebody who's more persistent at that than most people are anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. This actually does really help.
Like, when you did Team Turnabout, I know you say you value stability a lot, and obviously Team Turnabout isn't your career. But have you ever thought
In fact, we make
about
$0 off of it.
I know, but have you ever thought about Team Turnabout in the lens of just, but this isn't stable. I don't know if I can keep doing this. There's a lot of risks involved.
Actually, in the sense that I don't know if I have the time to commit to it in the future, yes, I have thought about, like, I can't do this forever kind of thing. Yeah.
Sure, but you've thought about it, but yet, from what I understand, for 5 years, alongside everything else you've been doing, you've decided this is worth it. I can do it.
Yes, and I'm really damn good at it.
And you guys are already a group.
Imagine doing the same thing, but making any money on it.
Now that sounds interesting.
Any money, even if it was pennies.
What if Team Turnabout one day became a company that makes things and isn't a fan project for, you know, Leighton or whatever?
Well, it would probably be a completely different thing, but if you mean like a similar...
But like, you know, it could
Yeah.
grow into something after you guys are done your project. Like, because I mean, obviously that's not going to run forever. And all of you are going to be something like, well, what do we do with our time now? Like, you know,
Well,
maybe at some point it will develop into something, or maybe
I would
some
actually be
people go
interested
off-
in maybe
You'll
leading...
go off on your own, and you know, maybe you'll
Yeah.
become your own company. You know.
I would actually entertain maybe in the future being the owner of a production company, like kind of like Team Turnabout, but like professional level and for paid original content. But you know, I would have to work my way up. But I mean, maybe I would certainly be ready to try it.
Somewhat of a tangential note, but just in regards to the IMDb thing, there is a 2014 video essay on the 1990s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie from Moves with Mikey that is on IMDb. You could put fucking anything on there.
Incredible. Okay, that is.
It's
pretty
10 minutes long. It's a 10-minute long video essay on the fucking movie for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, okay, so could you remind me, what exactly Team Turnabout is doing specifically?
I should let the person who does it explain.
I
What am I
get do tell me.
doing?
Sorry, say that again.
So, like you, from what I understand, you guys are you basically making an expansion mod kind of thing for?
I think it's just a fanfic series, like a web
So
series.
it's a video series using the Ace Attorney assets, telling an original story, with like really high production values and writing and voice acting. But you can kind of treat it like a very polished fanfic, I guess.
It's a high production value fan fiction web series using established assets
If I
and characters.
understand, it's supposed
Well
to
said.
feel tonally
Well
like
said.
it would be made by Capcom.
Oh yeah, I've literally have studied the writing of these characters, and I can write them very well. I would even say, yes,
So,
I know these characters. Not as well as the creators, but pretty damn well.
Pretty,
Well,
pretty.
okay, to be
sure you
fair-
could do some pretty good writing for your own characters if you had any.
That's the thing. If I was inspired to at least come up with original characters, I think I would enjoy writing that.
You don't have
Yeah.
to, though. Look at
See,
what
I
the
would-
biggest
I would
fucking
like
thing
to-
on the market is right now. The MCU, all those are pre-established characters.
well,
true.
you have to have the rights for those, but
You do, but what I'm saying,
Could
is
you
that
imagine
you
it?
don't have
Could-
to
could
be
you
purely
imagine
a
if I got,
original
like-
writer for
I would
anything.
like to point out a certain turning point in my own sort of creative learning, things like that. When, because trying to get good at artwork and whatever else, I didn't really start getting good at art, like where other people would say I was good at art. until I started getting my own characters and started doing my own thing, have my own universe to work with, things like that. So maybe as a writer, the most important thing you're going to have isn't really the setting that your characters might be in. It's actually the characters themselves. So
It'd be really great if I got like the Ace Attorney license, like if I could write an Ace Attorney game, or like if I got the Bond license or something. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Well, the thing is, though, is that look at the game that Red's playing right now. Who's that guy right there? That's Dracula. What is he from? Not Castlevania.
He's from the public domain, like Winnie the Pooh. Make a Winnie the Pooh story.
True, I could.
Like for real, like why not?
Legally.
Start writing a Bond film mixed with a Layton story.
No,
right?
they should hire me for the next Sonic game. So,
You know,
I'm not
like
that good.
James Bond,
like-
but he's actually a lawyer.
Yeah, like the characters may be the most important thing in the universe, but sometimes creating a universe where things can happen is a good way to discover how a character can be.
True. Yeah. I always
James
did
Bond
want to
as
write like
lawyer
a story.
Sounds so stupid, but that sounds like it'd be fun. You know, like
Maybe it's a parody
he
film.
like commits espionage, breaks into people's places to try to win his
Steals
cases.
evidence.
Yeah,
You know,
with all the care and concern of a
like does
an attorney
not
game.
respect the legal system, but cheats his way through it because it's the he
Now,
believes it's the
now
right
I'm just
thing to do.
picturing. Now I'm just picturing Pierce Brosnan in a suit crawling under the judge's desk.
it would be amazing. Like, come on, like there's, like you know, because there's also another thing to note is that the first thing you write will not be your best work.
Right. That's very fair. Yeah. I guess
I know Coop still
Yeah.
bullies himself over on Cooper's perspective, but first of all, like, yeah, it's not like Cooper's perspective was amazing or anything, but most people liked it more than he does. And
Mhm.
that is kind of what matters more than if Cooper likes it.
I get what
People-
you're saying.
People liked his series. They liked what he had to offer enough for him to get an audience, and even if he's doing better works now, it's because he had something to offer even then, and people saw it, that they like him. That's not to say that his new stuff isn't better than Cooper's perspective. It is. Absolutely. But just because something you made you don't even think is good anymore doesn't mean there isn't something people saw in it that made them like it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I hate my original Sonic Adventure review. Despite putting a lot of work into it, it's not even up anymore, but it actually left a lot of people, like, really thinking about the game, and I remember just being kind of blown away by that. And that's like a video I hate. Like, I have to redo it.
So, like,
But
it's
I
okay,
won't forget that.
you know?
That was pretty enlightening to see that, like, some people still were kind of inspired by that video, even though it was obviously rushed and
Well, yeah,
weird, and you know.
it was
it's-
about a thing they liked, and
It was on my mind because I keep
If
getting
it
the
didn't-
sweet notifications. And sometimes it's him complaining about Cooper's perspective.
um,
Still.
yeah, but like the Lost World review, I'm really proud of. I don't know, like, what career use does it have? I don't know.
I mean,
I
I mean, if
Well,
you
the
want to
thing
talk
about
about
the-
your understanding of writing analysis, you have a whole ass section in there about writing analysis.
True.
And I'm gonna be honest, when it comes to career stuff, IKG, that's not a question you need or can solve right now.
Also, careers is somewhat of a myth. I mean, I understand for you, you still probably would want one because you want stability. But there is no rule that says you have to do one thing for your whole life and that's it, that's what you do.
Well, that was the thing, is even when I was really passionate about music ed more than I am now, by the way, I don't want to paint the picture that I'm not passionate about music ed even now. It's just,
Yeah.
you know, I'm just having a bit of an existential crisis about it. But, like,
that's
the
something
thing
that's
is,
nearly at the end as well. Like you may not realize it, but once this is done, you're moving on to another chapter of your life, one way or another.
And
I
Right?
just wish I could start it now.
this educate well,
Yeah, but you're gonna feel something as it approaches, and you'll kind of want to get
try
there.
to live in the moment, you know? I mean, not that you shouldn't look forward, just
I'm trying.
Yeah, it's like
I've been
but
trying.
You don't
good
need
things
to
happen in the now too.
It's
They do. They do.
And
They definitely
besides,
do.
You never live a life where you nice health, Red. You never live a life where you reach a goal and you hit it and now you're just happy. That's not how life works.
That doesn't happen either. Yeah.
Nor
You
do I
just
eat.
I will be
keep
getting better.
striving for it to be better.
You
So there's
everyone,
always a point, every moment of your life, where it's like, I want to be at this arbitrary better point, which is in the future, because you're always wanting to improve. So part of being happy is accepting that you're not at this imaginary point in the future, and you're here now instead.
Yeah, I
Nice try.
know. But it's just, even when I was super passionate about music ed to the point where I thought there was nothing else I would pursue, even then I knew that I wouldn't want to do it forever. So as much as I like stability, I definitely don't want to be doing the same thing for money forever. And I still stand by that. And I think
And
that's a good
one of
thing
the-
for me. That's a healthy thing for me.
I think the most stable
Um,
thing you can do to achieve that is making it so that your name is your recognition. If people recognize you, then when you move from one thing to another, it's more likely you'll have a following and a chance to succeed than if it was people knowing of the works you worked on, even if they don't know you were attached to it, right?
Yeah.
It becomes easier to jump from one thing to another when you make a name for yourself. Toby Fox could right now go and say, I'm going to start a goddamn fucking, like... Bro, he jokes about being bad with art, and he's not great. He's not horrible, but he's not great. He's gotten better. But, like, you know, he's hardly, like, a very proficient artist, right? But he could literally right now say that he's starting a goddamn industry surrounding, like, impressionist artwork. And people would follow him there. He might not be as successful there as he is in the video indie game scene, but people know the name Toby Fox. You know?
Yeah.
When they hear Toby Fox is doing something, they go, Toby Fox is doing something? You know? He has the freedom to go and do something like that if he wanted to.
Yeah, that's not most people, though.
No, but
that's the power
most
of having
people
a
also
name.
don't have your specific ambitions either.
I don't even know what
There's
my
a-
ambitions are at this point.
There's a quote I just want to bring up because it was in the back of my mind when you guys were talking about like the chapter of your life thing or whatever. There's a quote from the best piece of American literature of the past century, and that's BoJack Horseman. And he says at one point, "Closure is a thing made up by Steven Spielberg to sell movie tickets. It, like true love and the Munich Olympics, doesn't exist in the real world, and the only thing to do now is just keep living forward."
Well,
Life doesn't have a fit beginning and end of each chapter. Shit happens, and then the next thing happens, and then the next thing happens. And there isn't a defined border between the first thing and the next thing either. They just kind of happen in sequence.
yeah, you're right. I don't know if I want to finish this degree. I should. I really should. I just don't want to.
If genuinely there comes a point where you just don't feel as if you really could like keep going on because you just are being miserable because of it, then yeah, that's a time that stopping might be the right choice for you.
I'm just
but-
not sure you're there yet, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
it just
definitely not
doesn't
there
seem
yet.
like that's right now.
So
And
close
if in
to
like
the end.
if in a few weeks time, in a month's time or something, it's really gnawing away at you and you can't keep going, you can stop.
Yeah.
But now doesn't seem like it's the time to make that decision.
I know. You're right.
And again, like, if you really think, yeah, I can make it through another half a year, then you'll be done.
Yeah.
I probably could.
You
I
know,
don't know.
you don't have to worry about, do I want to keep going down this path? You could even spend the rest of your time in this college career thinking about what you want to do after. And if
That's what I think I'm
pursuing
gonna do.
You could even get working on that other stuff in your free time.
I
like,
wonder if there's anything I can do with the YouTube channel. Maybe just,
a lot of
some
things.
catalog to show, hey, I can do this.
It's what I didn't realize you can use sub weapons while swinging. Anyway, I really like what they did with the bridge here. Compare that to Castlevania 1. Like, it's not like a super hard set piece, but like...
There's also a similar set piece in Haunted Castle.
I vastly prefer this. So, you finished Super Castlevania 4, Red. All the existential talk over some critical moments aside, how you feeling?
Yeah, it'd be an interesting stream for people to look back on. But yeah, pretty good game. I still don't know whether or not I prefer this overall to 3. I think they're of similar quality. This is definitely more polished than 3, although there's still some elements of this that are a little weird.
It's a little shaky right at the end, but it's not nearly to the extent of 1.
Yeah.
No, and that Dracula fight I actually somewhat enjoy. I have small issues with it, but like, I think it's fun and it's challenging.
Yeah. Maybe it was a bit too much to have him spam an attack that gives you health right before he goes into the next phase.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there are elements of this in 3 that I like over the other game. I think 3 definitely feels more ambitious, whereas this is just, you know...
3's really interesting.
Yeah, this is just like a really polished up version of 1 with like new level design and some new mechanics.
And I think you can, now that you've played through, you get what I mean with like this game's not very tense in the Castlevania sense. Like 1 and 3, where like in 1 and 3, every movement you make feels really calculated, planned, and like there's a weight to it of the tension of, oh fuck, you know, of any moment.
Yeah.
And this game's not like that. It's a lot more like an action movie, you know?
Yeah.
It genuinely feels like a schlocky classic horror film. Which, if that's their goal with the first game and this one actually does that more than the first game does, you know? Where it really feels like you're playing through some, like, classic, not really scary horror film, right?
Yeah, like I said, this one feels the most Halloween-y.
And it has that bombastic energy that's kind of really fun. Like, it's not... I still like the tension more. I have more of an appeal to that. But I do rather like and respect what this is going for.
Yeah.
And I can't deny that it is better designed overall. You know?
Yeah.
But the ambitions in 3, what it gets across, and the fact that I like its direction more to begin with.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not the one who's finished 3, but...
I think 3, you know, taking the Japanese version as a base, obviously, and polishing that up, I think I would say it would surpass this, but it's harder to make that call because it needs polish.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I sit with Bloodstained, where for the most part, Curse of the Moon is like 3 but more polished.
Yeah.
There's a few quirks about it that make it feel a little more tame than Classicvania. Not to the extent of 4, but, you know, enough where it's noteworthy. So, I wouldn't call Bloodstained the perfect execution of exactly what I'm looking for, but it is... It's still better than 3. You know.
Yeah.
Curse of the Moon improved on the games it's inspired by, and Ritual of the Night didn't. What? So how do you feel about the stairs?
They're better, but there were still some times where they were kind of a pain in the ass.
Can you
This
jump
is
on
dull.
and off stairs in this game?
You can jump onto them, you can drop off.
Okay,
cannot
so Rondo is
jump
the
off.
one with the full stair control.
Yeah. In Bloodlines, you can jump off. In this game, you can drop off. In Rondo, you can do both.
Although I think this is the only game where you can moonwalk on them.
Yeah, no, the moonwalk's fun.
How do you moonwalk?
You hold left or right to choose where you're facing, and up moves you up, down moves you down.
Oh, that's interesting. Yes, it makes sense.
I wonder if that was intentional or.
That's not how any of the other games work with stair mechanics, so they would have had to have programmed it differently.
I imagine the reason they did it that way might be because of the dedicated sub-weapons? No, that makes less sense.
No, because that would be a bigger problem in the old games. It does give you more ability to use the 8-directional whip more freely on stairs. Like, being able to whip behind you while retreating without taking a step down. Less of a problem on the ground and more of a problem on a stair.
I will say I was feeling the lack of use for sub-weapons.
Yeah, no, they have their use. I use them a little bit more than you do, but
Like, yeah, there are definitely instances where they came in handy, but
no, they're definitely less useful than the classic games, and they
Yeah.
don't feel as intrinsic to playing the game.
Yeah, like,
And I think that's the biggest design flaw of this game is the implementation of the sub-weapons. Alongside just that combined with the whip dominance of the screen space, which I consider kind of to be like one issue.
yeah, like, the whip itself was just really strong in the game. Like, most of the bosses, like, the weakness was just the whip. Rather, like, I'm sure, like, there are sub-weapons that would be useful against, a bunch of them, but most of the time, the whip was just reliable enough. And that last boss rush, they didn't even give you any sub-weapons for them.
Honestly, the first boss, I wouldn't really use anything except for maybe like the cross boomerang, but even then, the whip is literally what I want for the first of those 3 fights. The axe would be nice for the other guy, but the diagonal whip is still, like, very reliable.
Yeah. I mean,
I love the diagonal down pose.
Yeah, no, and I mean, Dracula, the cross is really good against.
Cross is definitely useful against Dracula, yeah. It is very good at helping you take care of those flying fire fucks.
Yeah. Yeah, those guys are kind of annoying.
At first, I was like, how the fuck do I deal with them? These are obnoxious. And then I started to actually learn how to deal with them. Okay, actually, it's not as bad as I thought.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think overall, like, I would classify this as a better game than 3 because of the polish and, like, that alternate path, the a la carte pathway. I don't like some of the levels down there. But, like, in terms of just which I prefer, I think they're pretty neck and neck.
This isn't what I want directly out of Castlevania, but at the same time, I enjoy it a decent bit. And it's just good.
Yeah.
You know?
And it sounds like Rondo of Blood is just, what we're looking for. Which
is the next game.
It's the next game. Have to discuss how I'm playing that one because it's not on this collection because Konami are stupid.
Play Dracula X on the Advanced Collection.
No. They re-released fucking Dracula X, but not Rondo. Like, I know it's in that fucking PS4 collection, but like,
it's in the PS4 collection.
I don't want to play it on PS4. I want to play it on PC.
I will say, I do think that the remake is genuinely kind of underrated. I don't think it's a great version of the game, but I think people do shit on it a bit unnecessarily.
Why did they not release that on PS4?
You talking the PSP version?
Yeah, the PSP version.
Yeah, I mean, I'm aiming to play that one, like, off-stream after I've played Rondo. I'll probably play Dracula X before I play that one, though. Although,
I'm guessing you're going to do a similar thing to 3, where you do the Maria playthrough.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna
off-stream.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with Richter on stream and then play around Maria off stream.
Maria's fun.
Now that we've beaten the game, time for easy mode.
Similar when I get to Bloodlines, I'm gonna be doing that as John and then Eric off stream.
Look hard later,
But yep. So that's that's it for this game. If anyone else has any thoughts they want to share.
This game.
Good game.
For a long time, I had only played 1 and 4, and I was just like, 4 is my favorite.
I mean, if I only had those two, then yeah.
And then as I got to a more complex understanding of the series, I started to get a lot more interested in other games. Because when I first got into them, 4 was the most popular one. It was only later when I decided to try to get back into the series that, like, Rondo was the fan favorite of the classic games. And at first I was like, really? I thought 4 was the fan favorite. And people were like, no, Rondo's awesome. I was like, okay. But the more I looked into it, the more I looked into Castlevania and played more of the first game, it was like, no, I think I really like this design formula. Not that I don't like 4, but like, classic design. And when I eventually tried Rondo, I was like, oh, I like this. So, yeah, I do think I align much more with the new perspective of, no, Rondo's fucking amazing. We're gonna just run out the clock for Simon so he dies from a time over.
Yeah. This will be I think this will be the first time I time over in any of these games. You know what, I'm gonna end the stream right after he dies.
Hey, you know what game doesn't have a time over?
Oh.
Rondo.
Oh shit.
Rondo doesn't have a time limit!
Yeah, I mean, I'm
What
looking
about
forward to...
Castlevania 64?
Well, that's a different kind of game. Alright, well, Simon dies in 1 second.